The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt, so get ready, nerds, because we're talking Wicked Wahlberg movies.
It's Wicked Wahlberg Week!
It's Wicked Wahlberg Week! Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast Weekly Edition. This week's theme is Mark Wahlberg, one of our favorite actors of all time. He has some of the greatest and worst movies we've ever seen, and we're going to talk about a wide range of them and argue and have some really good time.
No, they're all bad.
Matt Vader is here.
Mark Wahlberg fixes everything.
They're all bad.
Imagine how bad any of these movies were
If it didn't have Mark...
before they cast Mark Wahlberg.
Right? Dude, can you imagine these movies without Mark Wahlberg?
I just picture Keanu Reeves in every role we've seen today.
No.
Yeah. Especially Max Payne.
No.
Yeah.
No. He doesn't have the attitude.
Oh,
anyway.
John Constantine.
It's the same movie. It's the same movie. Pretty close.
What's up, V? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. Jude is also here.
Hello!
Super excited to be here today.
I'm having a great time.
Was this her week? Did she pick this?
I think
No, we all did.
We all did.
It was a group episode.
But I think you initiated.
I said we should do a Mark Wahlberg
I was
week.
in on it, though.
And we all go, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love Mark Wahlberg. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
Kate has just been pissed off every day since.
Listen, I love Mark Wahlberg too, but dude, these movies are rough. But he's
There's only one bad movie this week.
That's what makes him good. He's
But
so good, he's bad.
Here's the thing.
Or so bad, he's good. I don't know.
There's one bad movie this week, but it's so bad, it's in the realm of being good. That's how I look at it.
That's pretty deep, dude. It's so bad, it's good.
Whoa, that's complex.
Whoa, dude.
It's not a spectrum, it's a circle. If you go far enough in one direction, you end up on the other
Well,
side.
you know, like space travel is like a ball of yarn.
It's a poly yarn. I was just going to say that.
Massey Katie's just here.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny whenever we rewrite a movie or TV show to try to make it better, we just insert Mark Wahlberg.
And it's better.
And it's better, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the movies we watched this week, the insertion of
needed
Mark
more
Wahlberg
Mark Wahlberg.
did not help them.
Did you
at
guys
all.
remember Waltana? I mean, come on.
You know what these movies needed? More Mark Wahlberg.
More Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg.
I mean, I don't know how you get more of him in these movies.
He's in it a lot.
He's the lead in all three.
All
of
three of these.
We needed like double impact level Mark
Oh,
Wahlberg.
because he plays like his own twin or something,
Oh my
like
God.
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yes.
Yes.
And his twin just wears like a pink shirt with a slick backed hairdo. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how you know
Like-
he's the other twin.
It's like
Right.
a rat tail or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and he could play his own love interest. And he could also play the Rock's part in that one movie.
Could you imagine? It's like, hey, cool rat tail.
It's like, you're fucking gorgeous. You know that, man? Has
a
anybody
really-
ever told you that?
That rat tail is amazing.
Yeah.
I think I want to grow one myself.
You got a face like a goddamn Adonis.
You're so good looking.
Oh, God. This
I
episode.
believe in fitness.
I'm a doer, man. I'm a fucking doer.
The bees are dying, you guys, and nobody knows why.
The bees are dying.
This is going to be one of our best episodes of the podcast ever.
I hope so.
I'm
just
so
jinxed
glad.
it.
We
I'm
gotta
so
keep it
glad
up.
you guys are going to be here for this. It's going to be a ton of fun. So the three movies we're talking about are Max Payne, Pain and Gain, and The Happening.
Not something else with the word pain in it.
We
you
couldn't
said
find
it. You
anything.
said it.
Pain. Oh, I did say
Well,
The Happening.
there's plenty of pain associated with the happening. So, yeah.
Oh, you said it again.
He said it again. So the drinking word of the day is happening.
He
Does
just
that
said
count?
it again.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Ooh, get ready for this ride, guys. All right, we're going to take a quick break and try and compose ourselves, and then we're going to get into the first movie, Max Payne.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, the first movie on our list is Max Payne. Jude, take it away.
All right, sir. I'm going to give you the synopsis of Max Payne in just a second, but first I want to draw your attention to the fact that the bees are dying, you guys. The bees are disappearing and nobody knows. And if you have a couple of dollars to spare every month, you can join the Salty Nerd Patreon at saltynerdclub.com, and you can throw us a few bucks every month, and you get extra stuff that we don't give to other people, like 4 extra episodes per month, and maybe we'll talk some more about the bees dying. And also, if you don't have any money and you want to do it for free because you're poor like us, you can scroll down wherever you're listening right now and hit that 5th star, give us a 5-star review. And if you have time for it, leave us a comment because it really helps us out in the algorithm. And that's about it. So leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a comment if you care to, if you can, and if you want to, and if you have the money for it. Leave us some money every month and join the club and become a saltine and get some extra stuff. And now, 2008, Max Payne, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour, 40 minutes. This had a budget of $35 million. What do you think this brought into the box office?
It's a video game movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it brought in $48 million.
Okay. Vader, budget?
It's a video. I thought it was a graphic novel.
No, it's a video game
It's
movie.
a video game movie. Budget of 35. What do you think this brought in?
What did you say?
48.
60 million.
87.
Nice.
Yeah, that surprised me.
All right, cool. Right
This
on.
movie's really dumb.
It's not.
So
It's like Constantine, but boring.
So not only was this coming off the fact that it was a video game adaptation, so you had a lot of fans of the game, but around this time, Andy Samberg had been doing his Mark Wahlberg impression on Saturday Night Live.
That's
And
clutch.
so when this came out, everyone was doing like their Mark Wahlberg impressions, say hi to your mother for me. In fact, when I went to see this in the theater, like people were yelling that out after every line. like Mark Wahlberg would say something, and they'd be like, say hi to your mother for me.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
we're still doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
we're still doing it.
How long
Yeah.
ago was that?
2008,
I mean,
apparently.
that's the weird thing is how influential S&P can be.
Yeah.
S&P? Yes, we are
Something
very
like that.
influential.
Saturday Night
SNL.
SNL.
SNL. Yeah, man.
One of my favorite
Affiliated with S&P. Yeah.
one of my favorite comments that we've ever gotten on a review was somebody said SMP is better than SNL. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
But yeah, the whole say hello to your mother for me. That's kind of part of our
It's in our
vernacular.
DNA.
It's in our lexicon. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for
funny.
sure. Jude, what's this movie all about?
All right, sir. Drugs make people see demons, and the demons kind of kill them. And there's assassins running around, and Mila Kunis' sister gets killed after she pickpocketed and failed to seduce Mark Wahlberg. And there's these Viking tattoos that mean you're in the demon drug club, I think. And Mark Wahlberg used to be DEA, but now he works cold case files, but mostly just works the one file. So after Mila Kunis tries to kill Max, kind of, she decides to work with him to track down her sister's killer. And Max knows it all somehow ties back to that cold case file he's been working on. The murder of his wife and child. Max learns his wife accidentally learned too much about the drug club, and the one guy he's been looking for all this time was his close friend, Beau Bridges, who had his wife assassinated. When Max gets too close to the truth, the fabulous Mr. Frank Baker tries to get him to say hello to the mother of his child for him, but Mark Wahlberg can't be killed by conventional methods and lives to fight drug demons another day. Discuss.
Okay.
I genuinely like this movie.
I have 3 comments.
Go ahead.
And then you're done?
Pretty much. So I love me a good Russian hooker.
Oh, it's just the chain.
Holy crap! Do I love Russian hookers?
Yeah.
If there's
Did you
one
recognize her?
thing, should I have?
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant?
Timothy Oliphant
It's
from
the only place, what's his name, wouldn't hit her?
the dragon
Oh,
tattoo.
Was it
Yeah.
the same chick?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's the same
Skeleton.
girl.
I am in love with that.
Except
lady.
she gets naked in
does she get
in
naked?
body, what is it called?
Oh my God.
Hitman.
Hitman.
Does I thought I recognized her, but I wasn't paying that much
Yeah,
attention.
Olga
Oof.
Kurylenko. She was also a Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie.
Yep, Taskmaster.
I
And she's
don't
also in
know. I have an infatuation with Russian.
she's a
hookers.
Bond girl in
because
Quantum
I don't
of
know if I've
Solace.
ever told you this story, but my first week I was working here in Las Vegas when the Cosmopolitan first opened up. It was polluted with hookers, but not your street rat hookers, but like hookers, like high
Top level.
end,
You mean
top level.
escorts?
I mean, and
The guys with barbs
okay, just real.
in their
I'm
fish
gonna
hooks.
Yeah.
tell this little quick story. Working in surveillance, I used to go on a lot of property walks.
Mm-hmm.
And the very first week we were open, I went downstairs, got out of the elevator, and went right onto our main walkway by this bar. And this absolutely drop dead gorgeous Russian blonde hooker comes up to me. And I'm dressed in a stupid suit, like a cheap Sears
Yeah.
Roebuck suit, with my dumbass, Jerry Garcia tie. Right? I look like a fucking,
know.
It's painting the perfect
I look
picture
like a
right now.
fat fucking tourist, right? It's just ridiculous. Here for a convention. And she comes up to me and she goes, "Oh, hello, Mr. Man." She goes, "How you want to party tonight?" And I'm like, And I was like, "Oh my God, this chick is so fucking hot." I was like, I can have so much fun with this lady. And her accent just like instantly made you feel tingly down below, right? It was ridiculous. And I had to tell her, I go, "Oh," and I just said, "Lady,
I work here.
I work here.
That's the worst thing.
And she just turned around and went back to the bar. And I was so fucking mad because I really like this chick. And I'm married. I never would do anything anyway. But man, holy shit. She was... Ooh.
Russian escorts, man.
And ever since then, I've had this thing for Russian hookers. And I'm like, oh, but man, the Russian escort hookers are just my favorite. They're my favorite.
I'm kind of mad that she died in this movie.
Oh man,
she gets like chopped up
immediately.
Yeah, and immediately like they introduce her, and you're like, oh shit, this is gonna be a great movie with them two working together, and then she goes off and dies, and it's Mila Kunis the rest of the time. And
okay,
you're like,
that was my other thing.
The kind of girl that just walks into your house as she's taking her clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
That was my second point. I love Mila Kunis in this movie.
Yeah,
and I love the fact that she like speaks Russian.
Oh well, she's
for real.
She's
for
really
real. She's
Ukrainian, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, knowing that just turned me on even more. It's like, oh, Mila Kunis, she looks fierce in this movie. She looks absolutely beautiful,
a badass,
and she is a fucking badass.
I love that scene where she's got them
it.
submachine guns. She comes in, just wrecks house.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. And
I
the sister's like, this is my sister.
Yeah.
She's kind of a bitch.
You can't do that around me. You have to stop with that accent because it's just.
I just clenched my
oh my God! I don't know what it is. But Mila Kunis is. I don't know if she's good in this movie, but I like her.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't have a lot to do in this movie.
I mean, she's no better in this movie than she is in the one with the Channing Tatum and his space skates. You know, but I just love her. I love her. She's Mila Kunis is hottie, man.
She is.
She's just beautiful. I like her movies and I like stuff she does.
So have any of you guys played the video game?
Nope.
Of what?
Max Payne?
I love the video game.
You love the video game. Okay.
Well, I was a big fan of the video game before I went and saw the movie when it first came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you love the video game more than you love Russian hookers?
Well, it's a lot cheaper than Russian hookers. That's for sure.
That's a fair point.
Yeah,
you only have to pay $60 for the video game.
You're not going to find a Russian for that money.
$60 won't even get you a conversation anymore.
Yeah.
But
inflation's crazy right now.
And I think my third comment that besides the stuff about Marky Wahlberg, but my third just random comment about this movie is I wish they would have gotten a better bad guy than
Beau Bridges.
Beau Bridges.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's not good. He's not a good bad guy in this.
And your main bad guy in this epic, sprawling, dark noir detective story is named BB.
My name is BB.
We get the backup general from Stargate.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, it's like
It was supposed to be a twist.
He's
It was
not the
supposed to be
good
a
Bridges.
twist.
They could have got the
How
cool
about, what's
Bridges.
his face? Chris O'Neill. Is it Chris O'Neill is in this movie? The old Robin from the terrible Batman
Chris
movie?
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in a movie since this one.
I said the same thing when he showed up. I was like, oh shit, where's that guy been?
Yeah. I don't know what he's doing lately, but
But
it was interesting.
I know the rest of this movie, I thought it was very latexy and leathery. I had that same jacket at home. I almost brought it in to wear with some sunglasses today. I thought that would have been kind of a cosplay thing. But
I can tell there's so many different influences that this movie tried to like mimic. Like the game itself is very much of like a detective noir game, and the story, like, and the gimmick of the game is that you get to utilize slow motion because it came out after the Matrix, and everybody's like, "Ooh, bullet time." So that's kind of like the gimmick for the game. You're a detective. You're going on this mission. You have to go on shootouts and stuff like that. And every once in a while, you get to use slow motion and kind of like shoot the bad guys. But this movie, like, it's clearly trying to rip off like 3 different movies. It's like Constantine is obviously a big inspiration for this movie. Sin City is another big inspiration for this movie. There's so many things in this that like don't allow it to be its own thing. And I felt like that was a bit of a...
It's another one of those movies that I wish they would have made more like Sin City.
Yeah.
Embrace the comic bookness of it. And it's just like, they were close, but they needed to take it just another 10% there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So this was a first watch for me. And when it started, like as it started progressing, like the first couple of minutes, that opening scene where he's like monologuing and you think it's like his death scene, and like that whole like
under the water.
Dark noir start twist. I was like, ooh, this is a little Sin City-ish. Like this is gonna be cool. And as the movie kept going, and I was like, oh, okay, kind of maybe Constantine-ish. Okay. And then it kept going, and I was like, ugh. This movie's so fucking dumb. It's like it wants to be these movies, but is not fully committed. And then you get BB as the bad guy. When I was doing my notes for this movie, I was like, who was the fucking bad guy again? Was it that badass with the face tattoo? No, it was Beau Bridges.
That
and I was
dude,
like, I forgot he was even in it.
the badass with the face tattoos is like he's a U.S. military member who's like joined up to become part of this experiment for this new drug that makes you like bigger and badder and during battle and stuff like that. And it goes haywire. And like you build up for this character like, oh, he's the one who's murdering all these people. He's the one who killed Max Payne's wife.
They were like, listen, we've already paid Beau Bridges.
Yeah.
So.
And they go through this whole thing, and then you finally get the big boss battle scene at the end with Mark Wahlberg versus this one guy, and it totally gets undercut, and like it's the most unsatisfying fight scene ever.
Yeah,
and
they're literally a group of people walking towards murdering Mark Wahlberg, and he's just monologuing about every single bad thing he's ever done to Mark Wahlberg. He's like, it doesn't matter because I'm gonna fucking kill you in a minute. And Mark Wahlberg's like, all right, that tracks.
Oh yeah.
And they just like go, and he's like, okay, it's time to murder you now. And Mark Wahlberg's like, say hello to like all your loved ones for me. and it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
The execution of it was such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it had great potential, and
It
it
could
just
have been
like
great.
I think you guys are spot on where it said like it could have been all these things, but it never committed to one thing. Like commit to one of these things, it would have been amazing. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I enjoy this movie, but it's not a good.
It's an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, it's enjoyable for.
but it's
watch.
not good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Candice,
Yeah, sorry.
as a fan of the video games, how do you feel about this flick?
I was very upset when I saw this movie for the first time as a fan of the video games.
You saw this in the theater, didn't you?
I did. I was very excited to go see it. And, you know, the video games, they kind of have this like detective noir, like graphic novel feel to them. They're very rainy. They're very moody. It's a very like hardcore, like crime story. It was kind of like, you know, Alex said it was inspired by The Matrix, and the bullet time stuff it was like a cool game mechanic, but it was actually inspired by the John Woo Hong Kong crime stories.
Yeah.
In that style. And in the game, basically, Max Payne is a undercover DEA agent, former New York City detective or whatever. And he's undercover with this kind of mafia group to try to figure out where they're getting their drugs from, which is this drug Valkyrie. And this drug supposedly gives you, like, it was developed for the US military to like give soldiers like enhancements, like improve focus and stuff like that. And that's where the bullet time in the game comes from, because he gets dosed up with this stuff and all of a sudden like he can kind of like hyper focus. And so it creates the bullet time effect. And throughout the game, like you're basically, there's no supernatural element to it. You're just basically like fighting your way through the mafia, and then the cops show up and the cops are corrupt. So the cops and the mafia are after him, and he has to fight his way through that while uncovering this conspiracy. And it's a very like interesting game, and I was addicted to it. Like I played it like straight through and up to the very end. And in the movie, they completely changed the story of the game, where like the main bad guy in the game is actually in the movie, but like she plays like a minor role. The head of the pharmaceutical company.
Yeah. The one who bailed on BB.
Yeah.
When he called her and he's like, I need your help right now. And she just
like
hangs up the
lady
phone.
in the limo or something.
Yeah. And at the start of the game, it actually starts with like the end of the story, like right when Max Payne killed her. And he killed her in a very specific way where it looked like they were going to do that in the movie, and then they just like didn't. But the addition of the Valkyries in the movie, where like they're these like supernatural creatures that sort of kill you, even though like you're just like on a bad trip when you die.
Yeah.
Like it was very strange.
It's very ambiguous and
I
weird.
got a question about that. So they take the drug, and now they're like, all of a sudden they're seeing this hallucinogenic weird realm. So were they like seeing the world between worlds? Were there demons and angels out there?
No.
Or were they just all imagining the same shit?
It was just a bad trip.
This is a bad trip. So okay, well then that doesn't make any sense, because everybody's trips would be different trips.
Well,
because I felt like there was a supernatural element to this.
Like Jude said, they try so hard to be Constantine in this movie, but they don't commit to it because it doesn't make sense for the story.
So then that makes the movie worse.
Well, right, exactly.
If they had made that like, okay, you take this drug and you kind of become, you get access to like this weird like world between worlds, between this world between heaven and hell, where you can see the demons and the angels fighting each other and stuff. Maybe if they had like done that, but
If they
it
had
wasn't
just committed to it, it would have been cool.
Yeah, otherwise
Okay,
it's just
go
weird.
ahead.
Yeah, so John Moore, who's the director of this movie, like this was like his first really big film. And to give you an idea of this guy's talent, he directed the worst Die Hard sequel, which was A Good Day to Die Hard. Like it's terrible. Like he's a good visualist in terms of like stylistic wise, but like storytelling wise, this guy, it's very questionable. And basically he was the one who kind of like shepherded, like all the changes from the original game. And it was so far afield that the guys who made the game came out before the movie was released, and they were like, this movie sucks. They've ruined our game. Don't go see it.
Yeah.
And so like there was a lot of the game fandom for Max Payne who basically were like, oh, this movie is going to be really bad. And it was. This is not a good movie.
No, it's
You know,
not
the
good.
thing I liked about Constantine with Keanu is that they did bridge that gap. It's like he was tapping into
Supernatural
the
stuff.
supernatural
Yeah.
world, where like this movie is like they marketed it as something like that, but
Yeah.
it completely was bullshit.
Yeah,
And it's
I
just,
mean,
it's
Constantine
weird.
fully embraced it.
Yeah.
This movie was just like, we're going to show you some things that maybe don't matter. Turns out they don't matter.
It's like we're gonna make some really cool special effects with these Valkyrie demon things.
So
It's like, okay,
this movie actually won an online poll as one of the worst movies ever made.
oh, I believe it.
And Mark Wahlberg got nominated as worst actor for a Razzie for the 29th annual Razzie
I don't
Awards
think he
for this.
deserves
No,
that.
I don't think he deserved that.
Well, he was nominated twice for this movie and
The
Hat
Happening.
Painting.
Shrink.
I love that we did the hat painting thing. That's great.
This has a bunch of sequels, though, doesn't it?
Well, it was supposed to be the start of a franchise. In fact, there's an after credit scene that kind of sets up a sequel.
I don't care.
But because it flopped so bad at the box office, they decided not to go forward with it.
Okay.
I played the first video game, and I think I skipped like Max Payne 2 and 3 or whatever. And then the next one I picked up was, I think it was the 5th one in the series, where you go to like South America or something. Like the games are cool. They're a lot of fun, and the bullet time's a lot of fun to play with. It's I think it's developed by the same people who made Red Dead Redemption.
Oh,
This game's developed by 3D Realms. Red Dead Redemption was Rockstar Games.
Okay, they have very, very similar mechanics then.
So was the scene in there where he like shoots the guy with the shotgun over his thing, and it's in super slow motion with the bullets
See,
coming out?
that's the thing,
Is that
like-
a thing from a video game? Is it like a video game homage?
Well, yes, because you have bullet time in the game. But
Okay.
you can hit a button and you go into bullet time, and then you can
When
shoot
did the
all the
game
bad
come
guys.
out? Was this like around the time the Matrix was coming out, or
2002, 2003, I think was the
Matrix
first game.
came out in 99, I think.
So okay,
So a couple of years after the Matrix.
so bullet time was real,
Right,
real in at the time. I get
And
it.
like that's the other thing that I really get irritated with this movie about is like they don't utilize bullet time in the right way.
Bullet time,
Like
so
they
weird.
do bullet time.
I
But-
should have made the drinking word bullet time.
There's only like 3 slow motion scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah. And I always felt like, I'm like, if you're gonna do bullet time, do it after he doses himself with Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Then if you want to line up with the games, then you start going into like the hyper focused
I mean, I
bullet
thought
time
it was
stuff.
cool. It was a cool bullet time scene. It just kind of weird, right?
But it doesn't work because he wasn't dosed up yet.
It'd be like watching a RoboCop movie, and all of a sudden they swerve into bullet time
No.
in the warehouse scene in RoboCop 2.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
I will.
Well, that's weird. That's a weird insert.
I'm gonna stand on this hill, and I think other people will agree with me. I'm gonna stand on this hill. The best use of slow motion in any movie ever is Dread with Carl Urban.
Oh yeah,
They
you're not on a hill there.
they
my friend.
utilize it incredibly
Oh, it's
well
amazing.
because you dose up with this slow mo drug,
We have
and
to
then
watch that movie.
oh god, I can't wait to watch that movie.
We
Can we
have
do
to
a
watch-
freaking Carl
we
Urban
can
week?
do a Judge Dredd week. We'll just watch the.
Is there
Stallone
3
version.
or
We'll
just do a 2?
We'll just do a 2-fer.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Anyway,
perfect.
I think I can fix this movie with 2 people:
go ahead.
Frank Miller and John Woo.
yeah.
Yeah, film directed by John Woo and written by Frank Miller.
There you go.
Yes.
Perfect.
Just tool it up. That'd be great.
Done. There you go.
And that was
Internet.
Max Payne.
Fixed. Good job. Good job.
Listen,
Okay.
that would have been like a 6-movie series.
The thing that kills me about this movie is that it's not a good mystery, and it's not a good action movie, and it's not a good noir.
Yeah.
Like you guys,
Because it doesn't commit to any one of those things.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big issue with this movie.
And
Like,
also, it was PG-13. Like
Yeah.
this really should have been R.
Yeah.
You know, this whole PG-13 thing, I used to think PG-13 was kind of cool, but you know what it's done is it's kind of where they have all these really cool movie concepts to make really neat rated R movies,
mhm.
but they want to get that
Audience.
family audience dollar.
Yeah.
So
Who's
they
that
tone
for?
it down for this, and this PG-13 bullshit. You know, it's like, come
It's-
on, it's just make the fucking
Everything that's
movie.
PG-13 is still too scary for your kids,
I think-
and it's too fucking dumb for the adults.
Didn't rated R movies make money before Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom
one of the
came out?
most successful movies ever of the past like 5 years was a rated R movie.
Yeah.
Like there's that concept.
Deadpool.
The concept.
Deadpool. I mean,
Joker. Joker
yeah.
made like $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
Like that's super rated R. Like these things, this idea that the studios have that like we're gonna miss a demographic. Like
PG-13 movies now are just PG movies with a F-bomb thrown in there.
just one.
Just one.
And a little bit of violence.
And a little bit of extra violence.
Yeah.
It's just like, I see PG-13 on a movie anymore and I go, oh, crap.
It's probably a freaking
Probably
rom-com.
lame.
Well, you know, the worst part about this movie is that Mark Wahlberg's just boring in it. Like he
Well,
has no real personality. in the
Come
film.
on, let's be real. Mark Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg in this movie. I know the dude can act, but
I don't mind him.
I feel like this kind of a role for Mark Wahlberg, I don't feel like in all three of these movies we watched this week, his emotional range is about 5 degrees.
Well, no,
From
he,
one side to the other.
He plays things so straight in this movie.
Yeah.
But if you look at another like Mila Kunis, Mark Wahlberg movie, Ted.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he's so different in that movie, and he's like actually entertaining in that movie. In this movie, he's just so flat, and I think that was just from the direction he was getting is like you got to be like the tough cop guy, and you can't have too much humor.
You're still in mourning.
Yeah. I mean, there's things that I like about this movie. Mark Wahlberg is one of them, in my opinion. I mean, he works because he's the broken detective guy. So I think him playing himself, if that's what you want to say he's doing, then I think that worked fine.
But I mean, like there's a scene in this movie where he goes to like his snitch's apartment, and it's like this gigantic apartment where he's having this like gigantic
Big house party.
Yeah, and like people are like in a back room doing like the Valkyrie drug, and he meets like the really intimidating like guy with the tattoo on his face. And then like he walks to like his apartment, which is also like super big. Like it's just like everything in this movie is just like so weird.
Face tattoos are serious business, okay?
You know what I thought was really
Especially
funny?
when you got 2 wings going down inside your face.
Yeah. Then you're in business.
You know what I thought was really funny
What's
was, okay, so he leaves the party. He goes back to his house with, I forgot her name, Olga something. And then she immediately is like, do you want to call me your dead wife's name while you fuck me?
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's like, whoa, lady, that's like
Not cool.
1,000 miles an hour. And so he kicks her out. And she's like walking from his apartment. And so she's probably still very close to his apartment where she gets murdered. And then he goes to work, totally misses all of that, gets to work. His old partner's like, I got to take you somewhere. Drives him back to basically his apartment. And is like, look what we found.
Yeah.
She had your wallet on her.
I love this scene where Mila Kunis was like, oh, you killed my sister. They found your wallet at her murder scene. And Mark Wahlberg was like, do you think that's something a detective would miss?
I know, right?
I was like, perfect.
But he's spot on.
He's spot on.
It's
Yeah.
like, nobody's going to leave their wallet at a murder scene. Come on, lady.
It was a great scene. I just liked it because he was so matter of fact about it. Like, you freaking dumbass. No, I didn't kill your sister. Get out of here. That scene was
Your
great.
sister was a bitch and she pickpocketed
Well,
me.
I thought like that scene where she was trying to get him to freaking jump in bed with her, dude. Like, holy shit. She was like, oh, there's a girl that you're missing right now, isn't? You can call me her name. I was like,
Wow.
That scene was so cringy, though. She's
think
just
it was
like
cringy?
moaning for no reason.
She's a
just,
Russian hooker,
she's
dude.
Just like on the bed, still wearing her high heels. She's got like a jacket or something draped across her.
It's his sheets.
Yeah, she's got something draped across just her boobs because apparently they can't show boobs because it's PG-13.
Right.
And she's just like, oh, tell me your story. Oh,
That's
like, what made you moan? Is the bed vibrating?
that's why I hate PG-13 movies.
It's got one of those 25-cent things from Dumb and Dumber.
She popped in like 4 quarters and she's just like, tell me. Story.
Did we ever find out who killed her?
It was the
demon?
dude. It was the dude
soldier
with the
dude.
face tattoos with the machete.
Okay, but like Mark Wahlberg walks up and he's like, what happened to them? And his partner's like, her. It's just one person. There's body parts everywhere. What the fuck, man?
Chopped her up and threw her around.
He probably just ran through her like A-Train.
I mean, we saw in Pain and Gain just how hard it is to chop up a body.
Yeah.
I know. You have to have a really good chainsaw.
Not some Chinese electric one.
Hold on. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We're doing that one next. All right.
Yeah, but I don't think they ever really established who killed her.
It was the dude. It was the dude with the machete, because he does the same thing to one of the other people who's addicted to the drug for some reason. I don't understand why he's killing people.
It does.
That part didn't make sense to me.
Demons.
His scene,
whatever.
things.
You know what scene was a little bit unsettling in this movie though, and they should probably amp that up a little bit more and kind of like made it a through line, is when they were doing the interview with the guy who's just at this point in time he's just a normal soldier before he gets doped up. I think they're interviewing him like, how do you feel when you're on Valkyrie, the drug? And he's like, I feel great. I feel invincible. And it's like, oh shit, that guy's fucked up right now. Like I was like, I wanted more of him. Like he should be the main bad guy. He should have been the one who killed his wife. He should have been the one who's murdering all these people. And then that way, when Max Payne goes and fights him and beats him, that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I have one more question about this movie before we move on.
Okay.
Then you guys can talk about whatever you want. Was all the shit floating around in the air real, or was that CGI?
CGI? I don't know. It's snow, dude. It's cold.
It got annoying after a while.
So they shot up in Canada, and it would basically they had like rain and they had snow, and they just had to roll with it.
Because man, it was like really light, flaky snow stuff, and it was in every scene.
It's called summer.
I'm pretty sure it was in the indoor scenes too. It was just like, it was everywhere. I couldn't. Every time I opened my eyes.
How forgettable is Ludacris in this movie?
He was in this movie?
Yeah, I wanted to say that like Ludacris makes yet another appearance. Like we last saw him in Gamer as like a hacking genius.
Yes. Yeah.
And now he's like an internal affairs detective. And the FBI guy that he's like friends with is actually the voice actor for the Max Payne games.
Oh,
Max
cool.
Payne.
I didn't know that.
And I actually wanted to point out, you mentioned Rockstar, and they actually took over the Max Payne IP,
and
they made the third Max Payne game.
Okay.
So like the first two were 3D realms.
That's
Rockstar.
where I got that idea from. Yeah, because
it's Rockstar is a 5-star Mark Wahlberg movie. I love that movie.
Let's see. Final thoughts. I'm gonna say my favorite scene is probably the scene where Mark Wahlberg goes and beats the shit out of Chris O'Donnell in his office.
I didn't even recognize Chris O'Donnell at first.
And
I'm like, is that Robin?
The concierge chick or the secretary chick is like, are you okay in there? And Mark Wahlberg's just beating the shit out of him. This is fucking great. I had a blast with that.
Did he come off very intimidating to you in that scene?
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
I wouldn't fuck with that dude.
I mean, he didn't seem like that intimidating to me.
Yeah, I got the same feeling like when he lures those punks into the metro bathroom.
No, hold on.
That's amazing.
That was incredible. He's like,
wasn't bad.
No, where he
Are
like
you a cop?
holds up his
Not
gun and he
today.
like puts it down. He's like, not today. And I'm just like, oh, come on.
no, dude, that was awesome. Were you crazy?
Yeah, I'm kind of
when
mad.
he steals the thug's gun and he just puts it in the sink, and then he pulls out his judge, and it's a freaking 38 special with like a giant fucking round in it, and he starts blowing things
what?
away. I was
It's like,
like, yes.
come over here and get your watch.
I just figured it out. I think I love Mark Wahlberg. Don't get me wrong, okay? But I think I figured out just now why I have issues with him in some of his roles. How tall is he?
What?
I don't know how tall he is. Google it.
How tall is Mark? He seems very short.
He's like the same height as Tom Cruise.
That's weird.
Short people don't intimidate me. If you're under 5'10", I don't.
Oh, thank God. I made it by an inch.
You know, it's just like, I think I could take you.
You are full of shit. You were terrified of me.
Dude,
And
Mark
I'm
Wahlberg-
5'2".
Yeah, but you're a girl.
Listen, yoked out Mark Wahlberg is going to beat the shit out of you.
I'm not saying he's not yoked out and strong and intimidating, but I'm not scared. If you're under 5'10", I'm gonna fucking.
I'm looking it up right
I'm just
now.
gonna. You're, whatever. You know, it's just short people don't intimidate me. I laugh at short people. Midgets,
Fun sized.
He's
fun-sized.
5'8". He's 5'8".
There you go. He's a fucking midget. So you know that's why.
All right. Let's do final thoughts.
I love it. But I bring up stuff like
I'm
that.
not
He's like,
fucking-
I'm moving on.
I'm not moving on. Moving on. I'm not going to let you go down a freaking rabbit hole with
But,
that.
oh my God.
I know. I saw. We'll talk about it in a second. But
He's like a girl. I don't date short guys.
Yeah. It's like I like to fuck people that are 5'8". You know, so.
Oh my God, JT in the comments just said, I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
Vader wants to fuck you, dude.
Yeah. You need to get some lifts, pal.
Run away.
You're girl sized.
We have fun size and girl size.
Oh my God. Final thoughts. Give it a rating, Vader.
2 stars.
2? That's it?
2. Yeah, 2 stars.
All right.
It's like I said, that extra star is for Mila Kunis and for my Russian hooker girl.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't have much else to say. It's an okay movie.
There's no boobs.
There's no boobs.
Yeah.
PG-13 movies are kind of lame, and yeah, that's it. I don't really have much else to say.
All right.
That I haven't said already.
Jude?
It's not great, but it could have been, which is really annoying. So we watched this movie for the first time, and then when I do my notes, I usually like to play the movie while I'm doing my notes just to see if I missed anything. So fun fact, I was watching this movie for the second time yesterday while I was trying to do my notes, and I felt like it was the universe saying this movie is so shitty that you don't need to watch it again, because my TV kept like being like, I'm not gonna play it. And it kept like pausing, but like the audio would keep going, and then it would like zero out and go back to like the home screen, and I'd have to like redo like HBO and like put it in and like restart the movie, and then it would play for another 5 minutes, and then be like, I'm not gonna play it. And I was finally like, okay, I'm gonna listen to the universe. This is a shitty movie, and I'm just gonna wing it for the rest of my notes. So I'm gonna give it 1.5 Rushing the Hookers out of 5.
Barely scraped by with the 1 scrap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't think you'd go that low.
All right.
Okay.
I got some surprises left in me. In this old gal.
Kanish, take it away. What's yours?
So this is a terrible adaptation of the video game, which is actually like a really good video game with its own really good story. So that's very disappointing. And the movie's just straight up boring. It's not a very good movie on any level other than maybe visual, but even that's debatable. So yeah, I'm gonna have to just give it like a solid flat 2 boring stars out of 5.
Yep. I'm actually in agreement. It's a 2-star movie. It's got, I love how Jude said, like, it's got potential to be great, and it's not, and that makes it worse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 2 stars for me. It's worth a watch. If you've never seen it before, I would say just check it out, but don't invest a whole bunch of time. Don't like rent it or anything. If it's free streaming
If
somewhere.
you're doing a podcast about Mark Wahlberg movies,
you can watch it.
check it out.
But the next movie we're going to talk about
Oh, shit.
is definitely worth the watch.
All right, the next movie on our list today is Pain and Gain. It's got a fantastic cast, and it is a bonkers movie. We're going to talk about that in just 1 minute. We'll be right back.
I'm in Max Payne. Have you seen that movie? Okay, donkey. Say hi to your mother for me.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you guys want to support the podcast, we have a new link for you. Go to saltynerd.com/offers and check out our affiliate programs. We have a ton of different products that you guys can choose from if you want to help out supporting the podcast and get some really cool stuff in return. If there's something that you want to buy that's on that list anyway and you're going to purchase it, use our affiliate link. You get a percentage off. It goes from anywhere from 10 to 30% off. And we get a little bit of a kickback from that when you buy things. So head over to saltynerd.com/offers and check out all of our freaking affiliate programs that we have access to. We've been working hard on reaching out to these people and getting those things for you, so we hope that you guys take advantage of it. And there's a lot of really cool things on there. And in the vein of Mark Wahlberg movies, I just want to give a nice shout out to Wicked Good Cupcakes. That is one of our affiliates.
The Wicked Good.
The Wicked fucking good.
Yeah, they actually come in mason jars. So
Nice.
like they're big, and they also have gluten-free options.
Excellent. Right on. So head over there to saltynerd.com/offers. Check out Wicked Good Cupcakes this week in honor of Mark Wahlberg and help out the podcast. All right. The next movie on our list, Pain and Gain. Jude, take it away.
I'm on the edge of my seat. 2013, Pain and Gain, rated R. Sorry, let me
Rated
tell you.
Pirate movies. Yar.
I'm getting ahead of myself. 2013, Pain and Gain, rated R with a runtime of 2 hours, 9 minutes. This had a budget of $26 million. What do you think this brought into the box office?
150 million. I don't know.
All right, Vader,
Wait, what was it?
26 budget.
The Rock, Wahlberg, and the Falcon.
Anthony Mackie.
Before he was Falcon.
Yeah, it was.
65 million. around there.
All right. $87 million. The same amount of money that Max Payne brought in.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
This is a Michael Bay
bigger
movie,
budget
right?
for.
It's a Bay movie?
It's a Bay movie, but Max Payne had a bigger budget than this one.
Huh.
You can tell it's a Bay movie by the cinematography.
Yeah.
He has a very distinct view of how to make movies.
Based on a true story. And it's fucking crazy.
I can't believe when like they open this up and it says based on a true movie or based on a true story, and then like
I didn't believe it at first.
halfway through the movie, you're like, this is fucking
Yeah.
weird.
But
And then it stops.
Yeah.
The movie stops and it goes, this is still true.
Nobody's this dumb. Seriously.
And then at the end, it shows you the actual people.
Yes.
He started it, and then halfway through, I was like, "What are you watching?" He was like, "A documentary about the real," and I was like, "I want to watch that too." So, like, I watched.
Oh, there's a documentary on it?
Yes, and it's so crazy.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Yes.
Where's it available at?
I just watched it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. YouTube? All right. Excellent. Great. I'm going to go check that out. So, Jude, what's the synopsis on this?
All right, sir. Falcon and Mark Wahlberg team up to get a goal, get a plan, and get off their asses and be doers. Mark Wahlberg is the brains behind the operation to kidnap and bleed Tony Shalhoub dry. They need one more partner for the plan. And who's better than The Rock, who just got out of Attica? That's literally all they needed to know. And it's full steam ahead to ninja up and be on their way to crime and 2% body fat. When the plan goes wrong before it even gets started, Mark Wahlberg just directs his team to pivot with the chaos. And now they're murderers. Not of Tony Shalhoub, that guy's unkillable. They accidentally kill a porno couple in Falcon's house. And now we've got a real Pulp Fiction situation here. Falcon's wife is going to be home in a few hours, and she's going to be none too pleased to find her nice bathroom full of dead bodies. There's no Mr. Wolf to help him clean up. His dick still don't work, and he's just wanted to do one more job so he could get a procedure. But now his dog is missing, and the cheap-ass chainsaw just jammed up like 2 seconds into disassembling the bodies, and The Rock is losing his grip while barbecuing some severed hands and doing a Scarface amount of cocaine. Meanwhile, nobody believes poor Tony Shalhoub about being kidnapped, tortured, and left for dead because he's a huge asshole. Until the man in black, Ed Harris, does a little digging, and holy shit, it turns out there are bodybuilders after him and took all his shit. Everybody gets picked up by the cops immediately. The Rock loses a toe, and Falcon gets caught with his pants down. But Mark Wahlberg hops into his new boat and races towards the Bahamas to grab some lobster and the last of Tony Shalhoub's money. And he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the monk's baby shoes slowing his escape.
I freaking love this movie.
This movie's
pretty fun.
amazing.
I watched it three times this week.
It's hilarious until you realize all of this happens, and then it gets real dark.
It gets real dark. I don't know how much praise I can heap onto this movie, but it's acted incredibly. I know you say like, oh, The Rock doesn't act, and Mark Wahlberg just plays himself in every movie.
I mean,
Everybody
they're not stretching themselves.
is given 7 different kinds of smoke in this movie.
Yeah, I have to say, I have to disagree with you on The Rock because like The Rock is usually like the stoic, like he's the action hero guy. In this movie, him playing like the come to Jesus guy, freaking hilarious,
Who
dude.
then falls off the wagon?
Yes.
He's the best part.
And like
I kind of like compare this role of him to his role in that gangster movie with Travolta.
Be Cool.
Be Cool. Where he's
Okay.
the right hand man of. I can't remember his
He's
name.
the enforcer who wants to get into acting.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's like closet gay.
he
And
also
it's so
plays.
funny. It's so funny.
That's weird because in the movie The Rundown, he plays a chef who like he works in like the black market like assassination game or whatever. Like he's an enforcer for the mob, but he wants to be a chef.
I mean, I love Rock movies. He's the Rock in most of his movies, right? So
Yes.
watching him do rails of coke is weird.
It's so hilarious,
it's
though.
So weird.
It's so funny.
It's like I want to know what he was. It's probably just powdered sugar, which he probably had to go like do like 5 sets of weights to
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Have you seen his cheat days? I follow him. I follow him on Instagram.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
And he's like,
And he is living my best life.
he's like, it's cheat day. And he has like a mountain of fucking pancakes. I'm
Not
like,
just any
Have you
pancakes.
seen him on Sushi Day?
no,
Holy shit.
really.
It's
it's
like
wild.
the whole fucking sushi
I
restaurant.
love this dude. He's freaking
Yeah.
awesome. Like I don't know if it's all just a facade because he's the Hollywood elite, right? He's this persona of like the action star.
He's a Masonite.
So I don't know if it's all like just bullshit for the public opinion or whatever. But like this dude seems like somebody I'd want to go hang out with.
No, The Rock lives it.
Does he?
Oh yeah, that's his life.
Okay.
I really believe. Have you seen his home gym?
I know
Holy shit, dude.
he pays for his own gym to follow him around. It's like
It's
in his
wild.
contract.
Yeah.
Like when he goes filming in other locations, it's like his gym comes with him. Which I mean,
it's
if you're
insane.
paying for The Rock, you want him to be
and he's
swole.
getting up there. He's probably in his 50s now, right?
He looks
Late
good
40s,
as hell,
50s.
dude. He looks good.
I feel like a couple more years, I might have a chance.
Yeah, he's
Like, listen, let me tell you something.
Okay,
Other than being a vampire, all I want in my human life is to get Eiffel Towered between
Oh my
Jason Momoa and The Rock.
Jesus Christ. That's pretty good.
I don't care if I'm 75 years old.
How's that
when
make
it
you feel, Matthew?
happens.
That's awesome.
Hashtag life goals.
Eiffel Tower, The Rock and Jason Momoa. Yes. I was kind of like wondering how many calories these guys consumed while shooting this picture.
well, there was this scene where they tried to kill Monk. I can't remember the actor's name. Tommy Shalhoub. They try to kill him and they fail and they find out that he's at a hospital.
They try so many times
And
to kill him.
there's a scene where they're like, there's a voiceover for Mark Wahlberg. He's like, we stacked freaking 3,000 protein calories
Yeah.
before we went to go murder this guy. And they're all like driving his Fiero or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, got the meat sweat.
This
going
movie
on.
is so freaking funny,
It's
dude.
so 90s,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah. Hardcore
Oh my God.
90s.
In the very beginning, he's just like doing sit-ups off of a fucking billboard or something. And he's like hyping himself up. He's
I'm
like,
big.
I'm big.
I'm strong.
I'm strong. I'm tough. I'm sick. I'm awesome. And he's just like, and then all of a sudden the cops come up and it's like let's
Yeah.
go.
I
We're
liked
running
your
from the cops.
reference to Pulp Fiction because this does have like a Pulp Fiction narrative to it.
Did you see the house after he tried to clean it up? There's
Oh
still
my-
blood fucking everywhere.
Yes, yeah.
You fucking drug addicts.
I love that scene, dude. There's so much going on in this movie. I don't know if we can really like break down.
We
the
need an
story
hour
element.
just for
yeah,
this movie.
just to explain what happens in this movie. You have to go watch it because it's just like the story seems so fake. 'Cause you're like, there's no way these people are that dumb.
Exactly.
But it turns out it's all real.
It's
it's
so
just-
cuckoo.
Yeah.
It's just stupid shit. Like Shalhoub's character recognizing Marky Mark because
From
of
his
his
shitty
freaking
cologne.
terrible cologne.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Or that scene where he's wearing the freaking onesie that looks like an alien. And they're like, here, put this on and go out there and kidnap this guy. He's like, are you fucking serious? I can't wear this thing.
And then they put on ninja outfits.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
they're-
they try to kidnap. Okay, so they're just some guys barely making it who work at a gym. The Rock just got out of prison, and Mark Wahlberg decides, like, I deserve more. So there's this guy that comes into the gym. He's super rich, and he's a dick. So we're going to kidnap him. We're going to take all of his money, and that's going to give us a leg up on
Right.
the world.
Yeah.
He doesn't
They
deserve that
try
money.
so many times to kidnap this guy, and it fails like 5 times before they can succeed. And then they try so many times to kill this poor guy, and it doesn't succeed at all. And they're just so bad at crime.
Well, they didn't try to kill him. Well, I guess
They-
when it was time to kill him, they failed.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
They-
just trying to get him to sign the papers and stuff.
They
He
tortured.
held out
really
for
funny.
so long.
Yeah, they tortured him until the point where he finally signed off his name on like
Yeah.
documents so that they could have access to his business and his bank accounts and all this stuff.
And then they didn't know that you have to have a notary present
Right.
during the signing.
There's a line in this movie is like, the only thing I learned from this experience besides what a fucking notary does. It's so goofy. But yeah, the scene where they try to kill him, like that's one of the darker, like it's funny because you're watching it, you're like, there's nobody this dumb. But like they strap him into
How did
this
this
car.
poor guy survive?
They strap him into the car. They force him to drink alcohol, which by the way, if you're gonna die.
They're just like dumping 151 down his
Yeah,
throat,
they're
right?
just-
Oh my God, and the poor guy, he's like, yeah, I've been sober for like, I forget how long.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
the
think-
Rock's like, oh my God, I'm sober too. I can't do this to Pepe.
I think he was playing The Rock because I don't think he was actually sober. I think he was just doing that to get inside The Rock's head.
Oh.
He was like, hey, I'm sober too, man. You and I have a connection together. Like, I think he was just trying to fuck with his
Yeah,
head.
you know what? Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
when he's like drinking, they're forcing feeding him alcohol so that he can have a blood count super high so that when they crash his car, the cops just think, oh, well, he was drunk.
Drunk driver.
They put him in this car and they put a freaking brick on the gas pedal and they let it go and they crashed it into like a freaking front end loader or something like that. And then
and the airbag goes.
the airbag goes off and Anthony Mackie's character walks up and he's like, oh man, I put his seatbelt on him by accident. And Marco was like, why the hell would you put the seatbelt on him?
No. He stood by it. Mark Wahlberg's like, did you put his fucking seatbelt on? And the Falcon is like, It's the law.
Click on her ticket, man.
Click on your ticket. That's what I always say.
It was so goofy. So, Kadish, you watched the documentary on this film. What are your thoughts on it, and what did you learn after watching the documentary?
So this is definitely the best movie of the week.
For sure.
It's also Mark Wahlberg's best performance of the week. This was a passion project that Michael Bay had. Basically, there was a series of Miami-Dade articles that came out about this trial. It was like a big trial and kind of, showcasing like the sheer zaniness of the crimes that led up to it.
Wasn't this like the biggest thing that had ever happened in Dade County for like a million years?
Yeah, it was a big deal down there. And basically, Michael Bay kind of optioned the rights to the Miami-Dade articles chronicling this thing. And he had been wanting to make this movie for like a long time, and it just never really materialized for him. But then like he decided, okay, like I'm going to get this passion project of mine off the ground. And he convinced The Rock and Marky Mark to sign on to the movie by deferring their salaries. And that's why they were able to basically make this movie for like less than $30 million. They negotiated back-end deals for it. And this movie is not a good movie. Like, I'm just going to go on record as saying, like,
let him finish.
This movie is very rough. On the surface level, it's very entertaining, but there are no likable characters in this movie. Michael Bay's style is very wrong for it. I feel like this would have been more in the alley of someone like Steven Soderbergh. The guy who did all the Ocean's 11 movies and stuff like that. I feel like this would have made more sense if he'd done it. Michael Bay's style of comedy is just to let people kind of riff and make it work in the editing room.
I think it does work though.
I think it works amazing.
Well, a lot of that comes down to Mark Wahlberg just playing up the assholeness of the character, like him being an asshole to everyone and being like so like self-absorbed. It's an entertaining character, but one of the interesting things that I learned while watching the documentary is like they actually interviewed the guy that they based the Tony Shalhoub character on. And they're talking to him about the movie. And they were like, what do you think about this movie that's coming out based off of like what happened to you? And he's like, well, I heard that they're making it into a comedy, which is really unfortunate because there was nothing funny about what happened to me.
No.
And like these guys, like they were called the Sun Gym Gang because they worked at Sun Gym. And there were actually like 7 to 10 of them involved in this type of thing. And they kind of put a lot of those different characters into The Rock's character in the movie. And the whole thing about like them taking 7 times to try to kidnap this guy, like that was true. Like these guys were not smart, but they were incredibly brutal. And when they were recounting like what they did to this poor guy, like before they tried to kill him by doing that car thing, they spent 5 days force feeding him alcohol to just get him like so messed up, like alcohol and sleeping pills basically. And so like by the time like they were able to like, stage this thing, like he was just like gone. And there was other things like the couple that they ended up murdering in the movie. So first of all, the girl was not like a sex worker or like, a bimbo or whatever. She was like actually like a normal girl. And so like,
which doesn't mean that it's okay to kill sex workers.
well, I mean, like in the movie, they introduce her. It's like, oh, she's got these big fake
She's
tits
like a phone sex girl.
Yeah. And like, that was not the case at all. Like the guy made his fortune in, doing like the phone sex industry and stuff like that. But his girlfriend was actually very normal. So I feel like they kind of did her dirty. And it's kind of funny because in this movie, the phone sex guy is played by an actor named Michael Rispoli. And when I worked at Paramount, he had a show on the lot called Bram and Alice that he was on with Alfred Molina. And I used to hang out with him. Like when he had downtime from the shoot, like he'd just kind of sit outside and like have coffee, and like you could just go up and like hang out with Michael Rispoli, and he was like a really cool guy. And so like I hated seeing him die in such a horrific way. And it's kind of funny because his house, the character's house in this movie, was actually Michael Bay's house. Like
Oh, really?
Well, he bought it from Hulk Hogan. And so like that was a Hulk Hogan's house, and Michael Bay just like shot at his own home to try to keep the budget down.
Nice.
On that
Is it
one.
actually in Florida? Because it looks so very.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They totally shot in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really bothered me about this movie was Anthony Mackie's character. So first of all, none of the characters in this movie are likable. I think that's its biggest drawback is the fact that every character in this movie is pretty despicable, except for maybe Ed Harris's character, but he's not in it all that much. But when Anthony Mackie's introduced, it's kind of funny because he was cast 3 weeks before this movie started shooting, whereas Mark Wahlberg and The Rock had like a long time to bulk up for this. Anthony Mackie, he had like 3 weeks to like lift some weights, and he looks so much smaller than every single other person.
But they make that a point.
The whole time he's like, how many carbs do you eat?
Yeah, I mean, he's obsessed with The Rock. But let me finish. So basically, there's a shot early in this movie where he's like with these other bodybuilders, and these guys are like cut. Yeah. And he's got like, you know, he's fat compared to these guys. and there's a line where Mark Wahlberg is like, I got you down to 12% body fat. And I'm like, that ain't 12% body fat. Like it was very, like, I don't know if they were trying to make a joke of it or what, but Anthony Mackie just looks so out of place in this entire movie that like, it really, every time he was on screen, it kind of took me out of it. But I really liked his chemistry with Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to compensate for his very small penis.
Yes, and there's a sex scene in this where she's like riding him, and she has these nunchucks that she's like, you know, twirling around. And the day that they shot that scene, Rebel Wilson, she actually practices nunchuckery, I guess.
Nunchuckery.
And she, those were her actual like nunchucks that she owned. She brought them with them to set, and she's like, I'm just gonna play with these nunchucks as I fuck you.
She's the mistress of nunchuck fuckery.
I just want to, for the record, publicly, I freaking love Rebel Wilson. She is amazing. Yeah, she's hilarious funny. As these side like comedic characters in all these other movies, like 27 Dresses and whatnot. I just watched her newest movie on Netflix was the one where she like goes into a coma and she wakes up after 20 years. It was so freaking funny.
I didn't think I knew anyone who watched it.
No, I watched it.
It's like called Back to High School or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know, but it's legit funny, and I love what she's doing with herself too. Like she's known in these movies as being like the big girl on set. You know, she's the one who fits that bill or whatever. Like 100 pounds she's lost a ton of weight. And she looks great, and I'm super proud of her for that. And I want to support like the movies that she's doing now, because I know that like in Hollywood things are weird. Like once you're in a category, Hollywood wants to like keep you in that category. For her to lose all that weight and get healthy and then it's very risky for her career. So I wanted to support her and be like, I'm gonna go download. She was the female Chris Farley. Yeah. She's great in this movie, and I love her in almost everything she's in.
I've never not liked her in anything she's ever done.
Yeah, she's awesome. So shout out to her. She's awesome in this movie.
But those were her actual nunchucks that she
great.
brought.
That's even better.
That's amazing.
That's and Kurt Angle, actually, the wrestler, he had a little cameo in this. He was one of the prisoners that The Rock fought in Attica.
Oh, yeah.
In there. So like that was kind of fun. And Mark Wahlberg had to get a spray tan every week. Because Michael Bay was like, your character needs to be tan, man. And so like every week he'd have to go in and like refresh his spray tan.
I feel that as a pale person, I feel that.
But this movie had a great cast. Ken Jeong as was it
Johnny Woo or something like that?
Tommy Woo or something like that. He was great in like the short amount of time that he was on the screen.
That character was totally made up for this, right?
No, it was based off of an actual guy who was like the infomercial king of like the late 80s, early 90s.
Tony Robbins? Yeah. Was he Tony Robbins?
No, he wasn't Tony Robbins. His name was Tommy Vu.
All right.
Yeah, but Michael Bay, totally wrong director for this movie. And I just feel like knowing about like the actual crime, like the actual like details of what happened, it's not very funny. Like these guys were like really bad dudes, and they tortured and hurt a lot of people. And it's just kind of like, you know, watching this movie kind of like portray that in such a cavalier way.
Is it in bad taste to make a comedy movie out of a true crime thing like this, even if the dudes that are the subject of it are dumber than a fence post?
I don't think so. I actually, I'm just going to say, I understand where you're coming from, but I completely disagree with Kadish. Like, I think Michael Bay's sensibilities worked really well for this movie. And the fact that it's a comedy makes it watchable. If this was played straight and this is just like, hey, this is a true story, watch all these assholes completely like demolish people's lives, like I wouldn't enjoy this movie nearly as much.
But that's the movie. That's the movie we got. It's just a bunch of assholes who are idiots, but they're terrible people who ruin people's lives.
Can I ask a question about the real crime? The way that it was portrayed in the movie, is that true to how it actually happened?
It's pretty true. Like,
Is it?
the phone sex guy didn't die from having like a
45-pound weight slammed on his head.
A weight falling on his head. Basically, they beat him to death, I think. And
but they did really chop them up and put them in barrels and stuff.
Yeah, like the whole thing with them,
like meated their asses.
Like the whole thing with them getting a chainsaw and like having to return and stuff like that. All that like actually happened.
Wow.
But the thing is like they bought a gas powered chainsaw first, and they didn't put any motor oil in it, and so like it grinded to a halt first thing when they tried to use it, and so they thought it was faulty, so they brought it back and then got the electric chainsaw. And
it's like saying this out loud, how could you play that straight in a movie and make it like, oh, look at these terrible people? You can't. It's got to be a comedy because these guys are freaking dumbasses.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Hypothetical question. You can all answer this question. You're a cashier at Lowe's. Somebody comes up with a goddamn cart full of lye, a chainsaw,
a couple barrels,
and duct tape. And whatever the fuck else. What do you do? What are you thinking in your brain? Oh, these guys are cutting some bodies up.
I guarantee you 90% of the people out there won't even notice.
You gotta be kidding me.
I guarantee you. Dude, a cashier just beep.
In this day and age, beep. Come on. You know what's going on. I mean, you have to know what's going on, right?
Beep. Not my problem.
Yeah.
Not my problem.
I'm getting paid.
You're complicit. Right? I mean,
I'm getting paid $13 an hour right now.
I mean, that person's probably already dead.
I would immediately be calling the cops. I would be security.
Well, that's because you work in the surveillance.
That's wild. I mean, I looked at that and I called bullshit on it immediately. And if that really happened, then I'm just blown away because,
people don't care, dude.
Man,
people don't care.
I think my favorite part of this movie was when Mark Wahlberg's trying to be like a role model to the neighborhood kids.
Oh yeah,
and he's talking about how they can't be gay, and like how to get like the hot chicks. Like his stripper girlfriend shows up with the rock, and he's like, "Yeah, see her? I gave her to him because I got tired of fucking."
Like it ain't nothing.
You want to ask like that? You can't grow up to be little Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, use your elbows. What the fuck you doing? Come on.
Yeah, knock his ass down.
The best part about this is how he takes over Tony Shalhoub's life and does it better.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that works for him, they're like, "Yeah, Tony Shalhoub, he was a fucking asshole."
But this guy's a doer.
What do you think about this guy? He's fucking awesome. He's fucking wicked awesome.
That was an addition to the movie. That wasn't in fact real life.
I assumed.
Like they basically just robbed him and like blew all the money on strippers and drugs. But
cocaine's expensive.
Yeah. Like they definitely took like a lot of liberties with the actual like true story, because like the true story is actually like very depressing and dark. And they went a little bit dark with this movie, but I don't think that I think that they added so many ridiculous elements to it that it undercuts like what actually happened, and so it's kind of disrespectful actually. So
you think this movie's disrespectful, and you would have wanted to see like a true crime movie that was more realistic and like dark and depressing?
Well, I think that it's your typical Michael Bay movie where like he's like, don't think about it too much, just sit back and enjoy this stupid story that I'm telling you. Which is why I think that like someone like Steven Soderbergh would have been like more suited for this tale, because like he probably would have added a little bit more gravity to it. It would have been a little bit more of a serious take on it, because what it really comes down to is you want to have like a good character study for these idiots that are pulling off these crimes, and really show us like what makes them tick and like, how awful they are. One of the weird things about this movie is like you jump from inner monologue from all the different characters like constantly.
Yeah.
And so like, even though like Mark Wahlberg's like, the main character of the movie, we keep getting sidetracked from like what he's thinking with like all these other characters, and it doesn't always, jive with, the narrative. And like, for instance, the stripper girlfriend. So like, she was like an actual character. Mm-hmm. Like in real life, she was never kind of pawned off to The Rock's character. She was Mark Wahlberg's character's, girlfriend, like all throughout it. And she did convince him that he was a CIA agent and all this other stuff. Yeah. He convinced her that he was a CIA agent. And so like, that's one of the reasons why she never went to the police.
This is where I started watching the documentary with him. And the prosecuting attorney was like, she was the most beautiful person I had ever seen in my entire life. She was also the dumbest.
Oh no.
Well, she said the most naive. She was being
Wow.
kind of.
I paraphrase.
That's just a nice way
the way
of
I
saying
said
dumb.
it was better.
Yeah.
Well, she was also an immigrant. She was, of course, Russian. And
Hello.
yeah, and basically she wasn't very smart, but she was extremely pretty. And she had done like she'd been in like a penthouse like Centerfold and all this other stuff by the time like she had met these guys, and she just thought that like, oh, they're good looking gym guys, and you know, I'm gonna party with
They are
them.
also CIA.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so like you know,
I'm an agent too.
I don't think they tried to recruit her for the agency, but like they were telling her that to basically kind of justify all their shenanigans.
Did the guy in the real life who actually this all happened to, did he get a kickback from this movie at all? Like in any way?
No one, because it was based on the articles and it was like a public record type thing. Nobody got any stuff for their story. And plus
Okay.
they
That's
changed.
fucked up.
See, that's the
They
bad
changed
part.
enough about the characters where like they didn't have to pay anyone anything.
See, okay, so
Didn't he sue Michael Bay?
I don't know if he did or not, but I know that. So like the guy who Tony Shalhoub plays,
Yeah, he's sued.
one of the reasons that he didn't go to the cops right away, and one of the reasons he was targeted, was because he was doing like a lot of Medicare fraud. And,
he was a piece of shit too.
and so like he basically, when he did come forward during the trial to testify about what these guys did to him, he was then arrested and put in jail for like
Jesus.
for like
Immediately
5 years or
afterwards.
something like that. And so like he you know, Tony Shalhoub, like this guy's not as unlikable as Tony Shalhoub plays him in the movie, but the stuff that happened to this guy, like no matter how unlikable of a guy you are, it's rough. Like
Yeah.
when, like
They shot him too.
yeah, they didn't show like half the torture that they put this guy. Like they kept him locked away for like 6 weeks or something like that.
I mean, these guys got the death penalty.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should
for,
tell you
for
something.
real.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're still in the appeal process,
well,
actually. but-
double homicide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, cutting people up, putting them in barrels,
Yeah.
torture.
It's
I
dark
mean,
shit.
They're shit
But
bags.
like when you're looking at this movie from like a narrative perspective and you're like, okay, here's the characters, here's the story that I want to tell. There's not a single person in this real world event that is likable.
Yeah, there's
Like,
no one to root for. in
There's
this
nobody
movie.
root for.
Yeah.
So like, how do you make the audience want to watch this
you
movie?
make them dumb as
You make
rocks.
them dumb and funny.
Yeah.
Like I honestly think that's probably the only way you could go. Because if you went any other direction, this
Yeah.
movie would be unwatchable.
Yeah, if you want to tell this story, I think that this was the right way
Yeah,
to do it.
But
Yeah.
I mean, like they really ham it up in some like for instance, when The Rock is barbecuing those people's hands, that didn't actually happen. That was something they added to the movie just because like how can we make this even more ridiculous? You know?
They
Perfect.
Michael Bay'd it. Yeah.
And Rock's armored car knockoff gig was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
that,
yeah,
that,
yeah.
that didn't happen. The guy didn't get his toe shot off. And
Oh, really? The toe thing didn't happen? Oh man, that's a bummer. I thought that was
Just
funny.
watching The Rock be a bad dude always cracks me. up.
Well, it's funny because
Him as a like strung out, messy drug addict
Yeah.
was hilarious.
that, and then him being like come to Jesus, dude. That
Oh,
was the
it's-
that was the part that made me laugh the most. Was he's like, "Are you Jewish? I think I know how to help you." And he like puts his hand on the guy's head. He's like, "Do you agree that Jesus is your savior?" And the dude's just sitting there like,
Yes, I
He
do.
was like, "Yep, sure do,
"Sure do." I was like, "Oh my
Love
god,
Jesus.
dude!" And
That
the
felt
Rock,
good.
like, and the Rock's character like genuinely felt like he was helping this guy. Like, and starts calling him Pepe and shit like that. Like,
He's like, "I would like to call you El Dad, which means blessed one."
And then that scene where they're in the car and they're force feeding him alcohol and they crash him into the thing and he's like, "Pepe, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm all right, Eldad." It's just
and the best part about that scene is like after they run him over, like Mark Wahlberg is entire like because The Rock's driving the
Yeah.
entire time. Mark Wahlberg's like do it, just do it. And then like when he does it, he's like, "How could you have done that?"
as you did that. And he's like, "Why are you all saying that? We all did it together." And he's like, "Yeah, but you were driving."
He's like, "Tell him, Falcon, that he did a good thing."
So
good
all right.
cast. Good
Yeah,
cast.
it's a great cast. I think the acting is on point.
Rob Corddry as the gym owner.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Violator.
we just have this scene's on screen. We're watching it right now, but this scene where he goes to the sex shop and he's like, "There's a lot of homo stuff in here, man." It's just, I was fucking dying
that where you
laughing.
got your pocket pussy?
I thought that was the warehouse where they were.
It is.
Like,
It
keeping
is the
him.
warehouse. Where
It
they-
is, yeah. It's just so, God, dude, this movie, it's so ridiculous and it's hilarious. And I feel bad. Like, I honestly feel bad for the person who had to live through this.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to watch this movie having not gotten
I don't think he ever watched it.
having not gotten any kickbacks from this, like, hey, we're gonna tell your story.
And had to serve a prison sentence.
Yeah.
Well, also like he literally lost all his money because
Yeah.
these guys like stole it and spent
It's
it.
like, at this point, how could the studio have not?
Just give them something.
Give 'em something. I
Like,
mean, come on.
damn.
That's cold.
It is
That's
cold.
cold.
Yeah. Like, hey, we're gonna tell this story and we're gonna make it a comedy about your
Your
incredible
unfortunate
misfortune.
circumstances. Yeah.
And we're not gonna give you a dime. Fuck you.
I'd be
Sign
pissed.
And we're
Hollywood.
gonna make a joke out of it.
I'd sue him too.
Yeah,
I would too. That's bullshit. Did he win his suit? What happened with that?
I don't know anything about him suing the
I
production.
doubt it.
Kind
He
of
didn't have
curious how
any
that ended
money.
up. They settle out of court, 100 grand or something, maybe. I don't know.
That'd be a lot.
Whatever.
Usually they settle out of court for like 20
I
grand.
will say this is the most swole I think I've ever seen Mark Wahlberg.
He was
in anything.
jacked in this movie. He made me jealous.
Pretty jacked.
Wish I had time to
He's big. He's hot. He's strong.
All right. Final thoughts. Rating. Vader.
I'm gonna go. I think this is my favorite movie that we watched this week. I'm gonna go, but it wasn't great. I'm gonna go like 2.5 stars. I think that's about all I'm gonna go.
2.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle. It's fun to watch, but these people are not fun. They're shitbags, and I think if I would have graded this thing like immediately after I watched it, I would have given it like a 3 or something. But I think after thinking about it a little bit and knowing a little bit more of its history and everything, I'm gonna go with a 2.5. So
Okay.
I think that's about where I'm at. But it's okay.
All right.
Definitely watch it if you haven't seen it.
Okay. Jude.
I think this was the most fun to watch. I had a great time watching it. And then about 2/3 of the way in, it starts to hit you that this is real and it gets dark and you start to feel a little icky about it. I will say I had a great time watching it because it's just such buffoonery. But Kadish is making me feel bad about
Yeah, I know,
feeling
right?
that way.
You totally killed the vibe.
So I'm still going to stand by my original rating, which for me, it was 3 tortures out of 5, which, I mean, if you have the choice of 3 or 5 tortures, 3 is the way to go. So that's all I feel about that.
Okay. That's all I got to say about that. Kadish, give it a rating.
All right. So contrary to popular belief, I do not hate Michael Bay movies. I actually quite enjoy Michael Bay movies a great deal. So like the fact that this was a passion project of his is not a strike against it, in my opinion. I just don't think he was right. He was the right choice to do this, even though this is his movie. It's also, the cast is great. The performances are spot on. The movie is entertaining. Like, I'm not going to take it away from that. But I don't think it's a good movie, like, at the end of the day. Like Jude said, right after the whole Tony Shalhoub thing, like after he escapes and, is on the mend, and then they switch gears to go after the phone sex guy, that's when the movie starts getting, like, really dark.
Yeah.
And not fun anymore. Like, the first part of this movie is kind of fun, right? Because these are all idiots, and like they're like they try to commit these crimes and they botch it, and it's kind of zany. It's kind of fun. It's almost like a Coen Brothers type zany like feel to it.
I can see that.
I can feel it.
And up to that point I'm having fun, and then like once they actually like murder people and start dismembering them and like all this other stuff, like it becomes almost a different movie, and the tone that they're going for doesn't quite fit with the actions that we're seeing. And add to that the fact that like there are no good characters in this film. Like, there's no one to root for. There's no like protagonist really. Like, there's no hero. And you want it to be Mark Wahlberg, but like, because he's like,
the worst of the bunch.
well, he's also the funniest and the most entertaining to watch.
And he's the main bad guy.
Yeah. He's basically like the head villain,
The ringleader.
And Ed Harris, like he comes in like about midway through the movie, and he's supposed to be like the good guy, and he's just not in it enough. So
Right.
This is a very uneven movie, but it's still entertaining. So like, I'm going to give it 3 hardcore pumps out of 5.
3 out of 5, not bad. I agree. I think there's a standout character in this is obviously Rebel Wilson. I love seeing her. She wasn't like a main character, but she did have a presence in this movie, and she added to the comedy. And I really enjoyed seeing her. And I was surprised at how well The Rock, this hulking, huge dude, was able to portray somebody who was so unsure of himself.
And so vulnerable.
And vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
He's always like, oh my God, is that okay to, like, the way he portrays that, like, vulnerability and that, like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I have to follow this guy because he seems like he's know what he's doing. Just seeing somebody that size act in that way and make him feel smaller I thought was really well done. So shout out to The Rock for his acting in this movie. I'm going to go with 3. I'm thoroughly entertained throughout this entire movie. I can see your point with that going like real dark on that third act when like shit really hits the fan. But the scene at Home Depot when they're trying to return the freaking chainsaw and it's got hair still attached. I was just freaking laughing my ass off at that scene.
Long ass hair. That's not fur.
Well, yeah. The Home Depot lady was like, "Oh, you got fur stuck."
Yeah, you
in
got
there."
fur stuck in your hair. Oh, like, oh my God, dude.
I forgot to mention something.
Yeah.
So there's one scene that it just like I thought was just so funny. So the theme of fitness is like throughout this whole movie.
Right.
And Mark Wahlberg is always just like, I believe in fitness.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's the theme of the movie. We want to be buff, we want to be hot, we want to be strong, we want to be fit.
Yeah.
And like after they kill the porno couple, he's like talking to The Rock and they're like trying to figure out their next move. And all of a sudden he just starts lifting weights.
I gotta
And
get a
they're
pump
like,
on.
Yeah, they're like in the middle of discussing like what the fuck are they gonna do because they just killed someone and The Rock goes, yeah, man, just get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Get
talk about
it.
later.
Lift that one.
Get
Yeah.
it. Yeah, do it. Hit it.
I love that scene. Yeah, I gotta get a pump on. I'm stressed out. And he starts lifting weights. I also love the scene where The Rock is he's with Anthony Mackie and that porn chick, and they're like dancing or whatever. And he's like, I don't know how to dance, but I know how to do something even better. And he starts doing push-ups, and Anthony Mackie's there just like 65, 67. He's like,
I'm gonna do 88.
it's goofy, man. It's a goofy good time. I'm not trying to take anything away from the people who actually had to deal with the situation.
I like how they called the steroids muscle juice.
Yeah. Oh, that scene where Anthony Mackie was trying to convince The Rock to drink breast milk. He's like, you ever sucked on a pregnant woman's titty? Oh, damn, man, it's the best thing in the world. Good stuff for you.
Straight up protein, baby.
Those electrolytes.
It's a natural HGH, man.
I got electrolytes running all through me like demons.
Makes sense.
It's true, though, because those extreme athletes, they do that sometimes. That's a real thing. But anyway, I give it a solid 3 stars. This is a super entertaining movie, crazy story. And I think the way that this movie is presented, if you're entertained by this movie, it makes you want to learn more about what actually happened.
For sure.
And then you can go down the route of like feeling bad for these poor people that this happened to. But like this movie is super entertaining. All right, that's it for Pain and Gain. Next, The Happening.
Shit.
No, the happening.
I need
Max
a new drink
Payne.
because adding his vitamin water to it made it taste like baby aspirin, and I hate it.
Oh, no. All right, we're going to take a quick break and refill our drinks. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Josh
going on?
Brolin, how you doing?
I'm good.
You were in the Goonies movie, right? I produce Entourage.
Yeah,
Say
I
hi to
know.
your mother for me, okay?
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you guys want to support the podcast, go to saltynerd.com/DC, download Dragon Champions. We love this game. We all play it here, and we have our own guild. If you get to level 20 after typing in the promo code SALTY, you can go in there and join our Salty Nerd Podcast Guild, which is run by one of our patrons, JT. And we have a lot of fun. It's a great game. You can collect your heroes, upgrade them, have a lot of fun. You are level what now?
71.
71.
Yeah. I could be farther along, but
You're only
I've been doing my minimal dailies here the last couple
What's
days.
the max?
80.
80.
You're almost at the
I'm
max?
getting there. A couple weeks.
Can you challenge Kadish?
No, he's got so much. He's so far ahead of me. He's years ahead of me. Even if when I'm at 80, doesn't mean all my characters will be at 80.
Oh, okay.
All of his characters in the game are maxed out,
Okay.
and I think he has all of them. And I've got like 8 of them.
Mm.
So yeah,
Well, good for you getting to level 80 so quickly, though.
working on it.
All right.
There's people that have started after me in our guild that are ahead of me now.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
I'm still level 25 or something like that. It's great.
Well, you're a weak bitch.
I know.
So it's okay.
Listen, I can call him that, but you can't.
All right, the next movie on our list. Been looking forward to talking about this for an entire week. The Happening. Mark Wahlberg, Zoe Deschanel.
Are you ready?
Yes. Take it away, Jude.
2008. The Happening. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour 31 minutes. This had a budget of $48 million. What do you think this brought into the box office worldwide?
$10 million.
You're going to be upset. Vader?
$60 million.
$163 million worldwide. Wow. Fuck you, M. Night Shyamalan.
This movie's not good, man. Ugh.
It's laughably bad. It's so bad it's good.
You ready?
I've had a couple cool moments, but
no, not cool. No, there's no cool moments. It's
there is
ludicrous. Go ahead, Jude.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to have my drink ready.
There's something happening. And the movie tells us exactly what that is right at the beginning. But unfortunately, what's happening is so stupid that you keep watching, thinking to yourself, no, that's not it. That'd be too dumb. So you keep watching and refusing to believe it when the movie keeps telling you that the plants are murdering people and you're shaking your head like, no, it has to be something else. That is too dumb. And then before you know it, you're watching Mark Wahlberg try his hardest to look terrified of tall grass, and you're swimming in space and saying Wajo and saying hello to people's mothers and wondering what your life has come to, that you've spent 90 minutes in a horror movie only to find out it's a brilliant satire comedy. And that's when you have your psychological break, and that is what really drove all those people in the movie to suicide. Discuss.
Jesus.
One of my best, if I don't say so myself.
Not bad.
The fucking bees are disappearing, you guys.
The
bees.
fucking bees.
You know, the bees, they're
It's
doing
so-
this thing.
It's a really big deal, guys. What are we going to do about
You
it?
better participate in this class because you got a perfect face. You got a perfect
For now.
face. Science.
But you know, your nose is going to keep growing.
Your face is going to grow into those ears, and you're going to be really fucking ugly in about 10 years. Because, you know,
He
you're
did-
perfect.
he did tell a kid
you're
that.
perfect right now.
And
but
that kid, 5 minutes into the movie, is like, it's an act of nature. And he's like, you're fucking right, you beautiful son of a bitch.
I wish you would have gone on with that. It's like, you know, right now you can get all the tail you want. But, you know, in 10 years, you know, you're just going to be able to get the ugly chicks. And you don't really want to just get the ugly chicks because your face is going to grow into your nose and your ears. And it's not going to look really good, you know, because your face grows a 1/4 inch every 5 years.
It's a fraction of an inch.
Whatever. You know, it's just,
A quarter is a fraction.
Stand down, Tony.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
This is funny.
So I try to defend M. Night Shyamalan movies because I do like a couple of them. I like Signs.
That's
I like
thing.
The Village.
You like a couple of them, and it makes you feel like you have to defend all of
Yeah,
them.
like this movie's indefensible.
No.
It's ridiculous.
But the thing about it is, the most diabolical fucking thing about this movie, and that's not a thing I'm controlling in my voice right now. The most diabolical fucking thing about this movie is that everyone is so pretty, and you keep watching it because they're so mesmerizing to look at. Zooey Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg, you're like, yes, fucking give me more of that.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end of the movie, and you're like, what is my life?
I know. They're both terrible.
They're so bad.
I like
Dude,
both of them, but they're both terrible in this movie. I drove over here today, and the trees are going, and I'm like, you know, fuck you, wind.
Did you stop the car
It
and
was
like
just-
hit the fucking...
Oh,
Dude.
the wind is blowing. Oh
it's
my
like,
god!
It's like
It
a
was
movie like
so
what
terrifying.
like somebody sat down, M. Night Shyamalan sat down after smoking a freaking big old fat doobie and was like, what if your allergies
I know.
killed you?
How can we make a horror movie?
Sometimes it
with-
feels like that.
How can we
Sometimes
make
you get allergies so bad you want to go murder yourself.
How can we make a horror movie with no budget? And we can just make The Wind.
The bad guy.
Fuck you.
Oh my God.
It's so stupid. It
This
is
whole
just-
fucking movie, and like they make the craziest looking guy be like, it's the plants. And you're like,
Dude.
fuck that guy.
Listen,
He's
this-
fucking crazy. It really was the
I
plants.
feel like this movie was kind of self-aware at how stupid it was though, because like Mark Wahlberg's acting in this movie is like, oh no,
Oh my God.
the wind
yes.
is coming.
Every
I don't
time-
know what to do.
Every
Plants are
time,
pissed off.
every time he goes, oh no, it looks exactly like that. Oh no.
Oh no. Like,
You know what this movie makes me want to do?
Like people
It
are.
makes me want to go to the grocery store to the plant section and go, fuck you, dandelion. Fuck you, grass. Fuck you, cactus.
You're
This
stealing
is
your
stupid.
coffin.
You're gonna give me your little spores in the fucking wind. Fuck you. It's like I'm not afraid of your stupid little plant spores.
but that
It's like,
goofy
what the-
looking,
God,
that
it's
goofy looking
dumb.
dude who was like, I'm talking to my plants because research shows that they respond well to positive energy or whatever.
I need R2 to make us a meme. It says, fuck you,
The
plants.
fucking movie keeps telling us that this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's so ridiculous. You don't accept it until the end of the movie. And by that time, you're like, I feel like I just got flogged for an hour and a half.
But there's
Driving through the roads. It's like, oh my God, the town to the north of us is dead. The town to the south of us is dead. The town to the east and the west of us. Where can we go? Oh, fuck us. I don't know what to do.
We should have seen it coming with the bees, you
Oh,
guys.
God.
Jesus, the bees.
the bees.
The fucking
starts
bees.
out with the bees.
I'm doing a lot of F-bombs in
Like-
this thing because this movie is so bad. It is so stupid. I can't believe they give this fool money to make movies.
This was a
Fuck
hard
you,
pill.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. There it is, right there. Your movies suck. This is the only one
don't.
I'm ever watching for this show.
They don't suck.
If they do suck,
No, they don't.
they suck.
I just
And if
spit
you
directly into my
ever you
microphone.
tricked me into watching this,
There's one.
because I forgot that Wahlberg made a Shyamalan fuckface movie. And he said, The Happening. I'm okay, whatever, what's fucking happening? I have veto power. I cannot watch these if I don't want to. You tricked me. And I'm mad about it because I never wanted to watch one of this idiot's movies.
I did
They
trick you.
suck.
I did.
They're so dumb. The wind, spores from plants. It's like, ooh, the grass is pissed off at us because we cut it and make it look pretty, like it's getting a haircut or something. It's like, we make you look better, plants. It's like, do we pick your babies and eat your fruit? It's,
Don't
it's
you
like,
care about how you look, plants?
Don't you-
Have a
don't you
little
care?
respect for
Just
yourself.
giving you a haircut.
I'm just giving you a fucking plant cut. It's no big deal. You look better this way. We all cut our hair. You need your hair cut too.
You're
You know?
ridiculous, man.
It's dumb, bro.
It's a dumb movie. It is, but it's so dumb. It's funny.
Zoe
Dude, there's so many.
Deschanel she's cute. She's got her quirkiness going on, but she wasn't quirky in this movie.
No, she wasn't quirky.
She
Not
wasn't-
enough.
It's like I need more. If Zoe's in this movie, I want quirkiness.
Right.
There's so much side story that doesn't matter in this movie.
Yeah, that's another thing
and
too.
like Zoe Deschanel's character is like tiramisu. I don't fucking care. I don't care.
Or the little girl. You know, they're all like talking
Yeah,
about how.
the whole John Leguizamo side story
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
care.
Yeah.
That should have just been their kid.
Should
Yeah.
have just died. Should have died quicker.
This like.
He's a good
This
actor.
movie's so
He's a good
stupid.
actor.
Yeah.
He wasn't in this.
No.
So
Nobody was a good actor.
He
in
had a
this movie.
stupid Dad Brady haircut, and and it's
He
just
looked like Mark Ruffalo.
it was just awful. It's like, how can we make John Leguizamo be as far off from any character he's ever played in his life?
Put him in Spawn and put him in a giant clown outfit.
That was pretty. He was good in that.
Fuck you.
He was good in that. You didn't know it was him. You didn't know it was him, but because he acted and was completely covered up in his fat.
What I
suit, but-
love about this movie is how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the movie knows how ridiculous it is. Like that dude that you talk about who's like talking to the plants. Like one of my favorite lines in this
Plants.
movie.
I'm sorry.
One of the freaking favorite lines in this movie
Is it
is
about
like,
the hot dog?
"This is a hot dog." He's like, "Hey, are you guys good with me bringing some hot dogs?" I mean, who doesn't love hot dogs? They're
Oh,
a
yeah.
cool shape. They're high in protein.
He's like-
they're valuable. Like we need to bring hot dogs on this.
Hot dogs.
Babe, you got the mustard, right?
Got the mustard.
Don't
I'm like,
fucking come
I'm
on
like,
a road trip without mustard.
somebody wrote this on a script.
No,
And
M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan wrote this on a script and was like, "I'm putting this in my fucking movie."
How does this guy
Be
get funded for
genius.
movies? Somebody explain to me how he ever got able to make movies.
Well, he made The Sixth Sense. Was that his first movie, The Sixth Sense?
Yeah, that was his first.
Sixth Sense, which is a hugely popular movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it
that's
Sixth
where
but
he
it was
Sense?
only
Signs.
it was only
Sixth Sense.
it was only because it had Mel Gibson and
that was Mark. No, it was
that was Signs.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis in
Yeah.
it with the I see dead people.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody
Yeah,
loved that movie.
yeah.
He also did
I thought that was dumb,
Unbreakable
too.
with Bruce Willis, which is a good movie. He did Split with it was like a sequel to Unbreakable, which is a good movie.
It's like he
Signs
starts-
is a good movie.
The more movies he makes, the dumber they get.
In my opinion, The Village is a good movie. He's had like 2 or 3 movies that were trash, like Lady in the Water and The Happening, and
Dude,
like one other
this
one.
movie's about plants getting revenge.
Yeah,
on
I
humans.
understand that, but
It's
like
dumb.
he's putting ideas out there. Some of them don't hit, but some of them do. And I will defend M. Night Shyamalan because I do like his movies. This is just not one of them. This movie is ridiculous, but the lines are so funny. I was laughing out loud throughout this whole thing. Like when that old lady was
Oh,
like, "You
good.
took my shit," and she was like freaking out at them, and I'm like, "You
Okay.
invited them into your house."
I will say this: the crazy lady at the end,
scary as fuck.
she was scary.
Yeah.
She was like my favorite part of this movie.
I wish that she had been the main villain,
Yeah.
not
She
plants.
should have been like a Wiccan witch who is controlling the plants.
That would have been fucking
Because that's
awesome.
nature magic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that would have
yeah.
been that would have made sense.
Ooh, and it would have been like this old lady in the woods somewhere who's just
Yeah.
angry at the
With
world.
a cauldron.
And she's just
Yeah.
like, "I turned the plants against you." And
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg was like, "Oh no."
Ooh.
And then it just cuts to black and ends. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you seen The Witch?
Oh, that the A24 movie, that like artsy fartsy movie.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw parts of it and I just got freaked out and I stopped watching it.
Oh, Angel. Like, what if this and that had a baby?
Yeah.
That would have been a great movie.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
see it. We're rewriting this. That's okay.
That's what we
Yeah.
do sometimes.
We'll email
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan.
When the
and be
movie
like,
is so bad, we have to
keep
make it
Zooey
better.
Deschanel and Mark Wahlberg. Still keep them.
yeah.
Maybe get rid of them.
I think I would have. I think I would have rather have seen somebody like Nicolas Cage or something in this.
No, he would have been. It would have been too over the top.
No, well, that's what this movie needed.
You think so? Needed
Yeah.
like what's that movie?
The plants are fucking
Alive.
They're killing us all, man. What's
Oh
what's that movie where he goes to that island, a bunch of crazy people, and he gets like put the bees on top? Not the bees.
The Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man. The Wicker Man.
bees.
The bees, not the bees.
Put like Steve-O in it or something.
This fucking movie, man. This is bonkers. Kay just hasn't said anything. I'm surprised you haven't interjected in.
Oh,
yet.
he's got things to say.
I know
have a
you do.
feeling.
I know.
He
I already know
is-
you hate this movie.
He is unscrewing the jar
So-
of his rage right
so
now.
folks-
Everybody step back.
So people who are listening and or watching, just get ready because this is gonna be like 10
Oh
minutes.
no,
10 minutes of Kadish.
Kate is just coming in.
He's been pissed off all week.
Good.
You've angered him.
Good.
You've angered the Kadish. Yeah. I gotta get my straw in the shot. Hold on a second. Okay.
Jesus. Come on, man. I'm the one that has to deal with it after you leave.
Take it away, Kadish. What's terrible about this movie?
Oh, what isn't terrible about this movie? So I just want to preface this by saying that I have long held the opinion that M. Night Shyamalan was a hack. I thought that The Sixth Sense was okay. Unfortunately, I had the ending of that movie ruined for me before I went to go see it. So the
Your
impact of
mom.
the impact of that movie didn't hit me like it hit like most audiences. So I was able to look at it a little bit more objectively, I think, than most people because they were so blown away by the ending of The Sixth Sense. They were like, this guy's a genius. I can remember walking out of the theater after watching Unbreakable and being like, I didn't think that was a very good movie, and the writing wasn't very good, and the acting wasn't very good, and I don't know why people keep saying that this guy's a really good writer-director. And with each successive movie, I know Alex likes The Village.
I do.
But that is a terrible, terrible movie.
No, it's not.
So like, M. Night Shyamalan started buying into his own hype, and it became more important that he promote himself as opposed to make a good movie. So I hate it when directors put like their name above the title of movies like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, John Carpenter. I like John Carpenter, but like I hate it when he does that where it's like John Carpenter's The Thing or like whatever. Because to me, like that's placing more of an importance on who's making the movie than the actual story itself. The only person that I think could ever get away with that is Alfred Hitchcock, and it wasn't his choice to do that. It was because he was such a legend that the studios put his name up on there so people knew what they were getting.
Matthew Kadish is Viking Cop.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually got to meet M. Night Shyamalan briefly around the time that Lady in the Water was coming out.
Really?
Yeah, and this is a guy.
How did you get through his aura of self-import?
I just swim through it like I was an astronaut.
Like the lady in the water.
Yeah, exactly. It was very thick, but this is a guy who did American Express commercials, kind of talking about like how amazing his imagination was, and he was just like a shameless self-promoter, and I never felt like his talent matched like the hype around him. And around this time, his career had been on kind of like the decline because like The Village was widely panned by people with good taste in movies. Lady in the Water was a huge disappointment. And so when he was writing the spec script for this movie, it was originally called The Green Effect. and it was very much more of an environmental type.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was the Green New Deal?
So like he had written this movie on spec, which means like no one paid him to write it. He just wrote it because like it was a story that he wanted to tell people. And he started shopping around to the studios, and every studio turned him down because they were like, this movie sucks. And yeah.
Is there more than one studio that makes Shyamalan and Ding Dong movies?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the same studio for all?
I think he systematically like destroyed his relationships with a lot of studios.
It just kind of threw me when you said that, because I just figured he had like a deal with the same studio.
I don't think he had like some type of development deal. I think a lot of his movies were actually independently financed, and then like picked up by studios later on. But regardless, like all the studios turned down the script. And so he had to go back and rejigger it and get actors involved, like Mark Wahlberg. And then like, then he went to the studios and he was like, hey, you know, like we got this actor involved.
Mark Wahlberg, huh?
Yeah. and so like they produced it. And I feel like up to this point, before The Happening came out, people kind of gave Shyamalama a little bit benefit of the doubt, where they were like, well, he made The Sixth Sense. And you know, like I haven't liked a lot of his movies, but like he's still like a good filmmaker. And when this movie came out, I feel like the broader audience at large realized that he is a hack and he makes terrible movies. And so like they abandoned him after this movie, because this movie proved how bad of a filmmaker he is. And every successive movie, like they had to stop putting his name on above like the title, because people would not go see the movie because they realized like how bad he was. I think his follow-up to this was The Last Airbender, which was like
so horrendous.
Yeah, which was a terrible adaptation. But it's kind of funny because like you can see like there's a scene in this movie where Mark Wahlberg and John Leguizamo are walking out of the school and they're talking to each other, and the dialogue,
Oh, it's so bad.
so bad because they're basically just like repeating the same words over and over again to each other.
If she's acting odd, just don't worry about it, okay? If she's acting like she's distant or something, I can't say anymore. I didn't say that. It's just talk, okay? Just relax, please.
Yeah.
Just with like different cadences.
Be cool. She's acting weird. She's acting weird. Yeah, but be cool about it. I want to be cool. You want me to be cool. I want you to be cool because she's acting weird. She's acting weird, so I need to be cool. Yeah, just be cool because she's acting weird.
Jude literally memorized the entire scene.
Yeah. Jude's not being, sarcastic here. Like that really was kind of like how the scene went. And this entire movie is like that. And Mark Wahlberg, I don't know if you ever saw Friends where Joey explains like smell the fart acting.
Yes.
But Mark Wahlberg, the entire time he's doing the smell the fart acting where he's just like, like his face looks like he just smelled like a really ranky fart.
Well,
It really does.
like this movie is the epitome of smell the fart acting, because everyone does that in this movie, and it's really bad.
There's a lot of extras.
The other
Somebody probably is guilty of the fart.
acting key genius moments for Joey Tribbiani is if you want to cry, you just stick your hand in your pocket and you pinch your nutsack until you cry.
What should I do?
I don't know.
But the funny thing about this movie is like, so after it was revealed like how stupid and bad it was, first of all, most of the actors involved in this movie disavow, like they refuse to talk about it.
Yeah.
I was not in that movie.
Well,
Clearly you were.
the blonde girl at the beginning who was in Cabin in the Woods, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So like she refuses to talk about this movie because she's like, I don't even want to be tangentially
She's
involved.
just in the opening scene, and the opening scene is so fucking good and
It's
creepy.
terrifying,
and
right?
it sets the stage for this being a really good horror movie.
Mhm.
And then the rest of the movie is just like plants.
That scene where the construction workers and stuff and the people
Yeah. Oh,
throwing
they're
them off,
falling off the edge.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hardcore. But man, it just went
So
straight to hell. After
Empire Magazine rated this as one of the 50 worst movies of all time.
that. Agreed.
And it was nominated for like 5 Golden Raspberries. It was nominated for Worst Picture, Worst Actor for Mark Wahlberg, Worst
Yeah.
Director, and Worst Screenplay.
Yeah.
And I think it probably should have had a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Because this movie is horrendous on pretty much every level. And M. Night Shyamalan tried to I guess rewrite history in the sense that like after the movie came out, he was like, I really wanted to make like a paranoia movie in the vein of like Hitchcock's The Birds and stuff like that. Like he just tried gaslighting like his reasons for doing this movie. And I never felt like it rang true, because I always felt like M. Night Shyamalan wants to be Hitchcock. He's just not
Yeah,
talented
well, he
enough to do
very
it.
much wants to be Hitchcock. He does all the same tropes. He even shows up in his movies as cameos. Like that's a Hitchcock
which
thing.
is another. Well,
Was he in this?
I think that's more of a ego thing, because like Hitchcock would just be in the background, like it'd almost be like a Where's Waldo thing.
Mhm.
But M. Night would actually act in his movies.
Yeah, he assigns himself a role.
Like Hitchcock.
Oh, so he's like Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
well-
even less than that. Because like, so Hitchcock would show up just and no speaking, just in the background. He'd be an extra basically.
Same like Stephen King. Stephen King would be like, I don't know what we're supposed to do with all these dead bodies, and then like walk off.
Well, Hitchcock never had any dialogue.
Yeah.
He was just like something that was like an Easter egg almost,
Mhm.
or like you'd spot him in the movie and be like, oh, that's Hitchcock.
Like in To Catch a Thief, which is an old like 50s movie, he's on a bus just in the back. He's just an extra character. Like Shyamalan, he will have lines. He'll have like an acting gig. He'll be a character in the movie. Taika Waititi does whole scenes and whole
Oh, yeah.
characters throughout the entire movie.
He's full-on characters
He's
in his
full on
movies.
characters in
well,
his movies.
Taika Waititi acts in his movies.
Yeah, well, he's
Where-
a pretty good actor.
yeah,
So-
and M. Night's not a good actor,
Yeah.
and he keeps putting himself in his own movies. And in this
Not a
movie,
good writer either.
in this movie, he's the guy that had tiramisu with Zooey Deschanel,
Oh, okay.
and so he's the voice on the cell phone that she's talking to, and that was like his cameo.
Joey. Fucking Joey being a stalker.
All
Being a
we
fucking
did-
stalker.
All we had was some tiramisu. All we did was have some pho.
So
You know,
Remember
so-
that really funny story Mark Wahlberg said about like going in to pick up his prescriptions?
Uh-huh.
If we're gonna die, I want you to know something. I was in a pharmacy a while ago. There was a really good-looking pharmacist behind the counter. Really good looking. I went up and I asked her where the cough syrup was. I didn't even have a cough.
And then he was just like, "Psych, that didn't happen." And you're just like, "Oh my
That
god!"
actually happened to M. Night Shyamalan.
so I think this movie had, like we talked about, the opening sequence where everybody starts like committing suicide
Yeah.
and you don't know what's going on. Like this movie has a premise for like, oh, this could be really creepy and dark and weird. And I think the biggest flaw is that they give away what's going on in like the first 20 minutes. And then the rest of the movie is them going, we have to run away from the trees.
Oh my God, we gotta run away from the
rest
wind.
of the movie is them trying to convince you, no, that's really what we mean. Yeah, that's really what's going on, you guys. No, really.
The thing that gets me is like, so basically the plants are releasing some type of toxin in the atmosphere that
Right.
affects the brain chemistry of people who are exposed to it and makes them want to commit suicide. And so like people are killing themselves all over when they're exposed to this stuff. But rickety windows and doors are enough to keep this toxin out. So like people are safe while they're inside or inside cars.
Now, Matt,
So I'm wondering, like, why don't people just wear masks?
we've just spent the last 2 years wearing masks to keep out
Yes.
this thing, and we all know the masks don't work.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
it doesn't work for a virus, but for these toxins, because of all the kind of shoddy doors and windows that they use in this movie to keep the stuff out.
Well, if you have 2 layers of like if you have like
Enough.
if you
I
have like
can't.
the boarded up thingy that does this, I don't know what it's called.
What?
Shutter. If you have a boarded up shutter, that's rickety. And then you also have boards nailed in front of it. It's 2 layers of defense.
Like
But
the,
then
the-
what
the
if-
people who killed those kids with a shotgun
Yeah.
didn't even have glass in their windows.
No.
What if you put 2 layers of glass, the boards, and put like a shelf up against the door?
Oh, you'll be
And
fine.
then put 2 masks and a face shield on. Will
It's
that
too much.
will that be enough?
That's too much.
Like the people in this
No.
movie literally could have used like a sock and just like put it over their mouths and they would have been safe from whatever it was
Hold on.
that was doing this.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm
You're
good.
fine.
I'm good.
You're fine.
Good.
Fuck you, grass.
Don't open the door.
Stupid weeds.
He's still in Smith's right now, going like, "Fuck you, zucchini."
Just trying to give you a haircut. No big deal.
Like literally, if you stayed in your car and just turned off like the air, so like there wasn't air.
Oh
coming
God,
from
that air
outside.
conditioning.
Oh,
Holy shit,
dude, that scene, that was one of the most ridiculous scenes. So
Still a
John,
hole in the roof.
he's sitting there, he's staring at the hole in the roof of the
The Jeep.
Jeep that they're driving in. And it, like the movie hangs on it for like
Oh, yeah.
3 minutes.
Oh,
And they're like, look at this hole.
when
Bad
they
things are about
crash
to
into the
happen.
tree, dude, and
Yeah.
they fly through the front window, I'm like, that's the best scene in the movie.
There's
It's
No.
like, holy shit.
The death
That scene is
scenes-
the lawnmower
the
scene.
death scenes are
are
Oh
great.
yeah, the lawnmower scene. I like the scene where they're driving into that town and they see all the gardeners and tree trimmers and they're all hanging from the trees and they're like, oh shit, it's here too.
Maybe we should turn around.
This movie is two different movies. It is a horror movie and it is ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. Like
none of it was good.
Like
It's like Monty Python on this side,
I could-
and like fucking like a huge like John Carpenter on this
I
side.
could see like on paper, if you're looking at this and you're like, okay, so the trees are giving out this freaking pheromone that's making people want to commit suicide and nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's dying around you and you have to figure it out. I'm like, okay, on paper, I think we could make that work.
Yeah.
But like the delivery of it.
I mean, at the end of the movie, when Mark Wahlberg meets up with Zoe Deschanel and who's pregnant, they're on this beautiful tree-lined street with shrubbery, and I was like, wouldn't common sense make you like burn all that down?
Oh, yeah.
Or
there wouldn't
walk
be
like
trees.
this down your sidewalk. Ooh.
Yeah, there wouldn't be
Oh my-
trees anywhere in the cities.
It's like, but you can't piss off the plants anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're real.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a dandelion. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Well,
Look at that lilac bush. Fuck.
well, if they're all gone, you can't really piss them off.
What would the reaction of the real world be after something like this? Because it seems like
we'd
they all just go
all-
back to life as normal.
We'd all move to Vegas where there's no real plants.
There ain't no shit out here at all, is there? Just
No.
freaking fake
Vegas
freaking palm
is
trees.
fine.
Vegas
There's-
is
there's
good.
We
some-
don't
there's
have
some-
any water, but there's no plants either. So, yay us.
Yeah, yes.
And no grass out here.
No.
Grass is outlawed. It's against the law.
All right, final thoughts on this shitty ass movie.
Oh.
Vader,
You going to me first?
do you have a favorite moment? Is there a moment that you actually do like in this movie?
Not really.
No.
The old lady.
The old lady was
Yeah,
creepy
she
when she
was
smashed
creepy.
her head through the window.
Yeah.
That was
But she
creepy.
wasn't in it enough.
Yeah.
1-star crap fest.
Yeah?
It's bad, dude.
Okay.
Never watching it again. I hate Shamalama fuckface movies. And I'm just I don't want to watch his movies. They're bad.
All right.
Worst Wahlberg movie of all time. Hands down.
I think Wahlberg might agree with you.
Yeah.
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 Oh, he's embarrassed for having been in this movie.
I would, yeah. Well, you can tell in the acting. He's
Oh,
just
hey
like, I don't
guys,
wanna fucking
it was
do
the
this.
wind. It was the plants.
Oh no.
Oh,
Smell
maybe those bees, they're pretty smart.
The fucking bees,
What's
you
going on
guys.
what's going on with the bees?
You guys.
Fucking bees are dropping dead.
They're dropping dead.
We got to do something about
There's
it.
no bodies.
Yeah. 1-star crap fest.
Okay.
Barely. Might be a half star, but I'm going to go 1 star.
Okay.
Okay.
Jude?
I'm so torn because, okay, here's how I feel about M. Night Shyamalan movies is that The Sixth Sense was great. Unless somebody talked to you about it who had already seen it. And like every other movie of his, like I'm sitting here being like, okay, what was my experience the first time I saw any of his movies? And I think The Sixth Sense was the only one that I was like, wow. And like every single other movie of his, I've been kind of like, meh, I don't even, either I don't get it or it's not for me or I don't really like it. But then as it ages, it just becomes so much better, but in a ridiculous, campy way, which you know speaks to my heart.
Right.
So for this, the first time I watched it, I was like, that is the most ridiculous and egregious waste of time I have ever experienced in my entire life, and I hate it. And on that respect, it's a 1-star, it's a half-star crap fest, just like Vader said. But with time, it has appreciated, and there are aspects of this that make it hilarious and satirical, which I appreciate, and it's unintentional, and the movie does not mean to be funny, but it is. So
Hot dogs.
It's
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. And there's two separate ratings for this, because on one hand it's a half star because it's absurd and ridiculous and infuriating and terrible, but on the other side it's unintentionally brilliant and hilarious. So I have to meet in the middle and call it 2.5 dead bees, disappearing bees out of 5.
2.5 star.
Yeah.
Strong.
It's either a 5-star comedy or a 0-star horror.
Strong.
So somewhere in the middle.
Okay. All right. I like your circular logic there. That
You
was
know,
nice.
time travel is like a ball
It's
of yarn.
like a ball of yarn. Well, Jude's rating system is a ball of yarn. Kadish.
It really is.
1-star crap fest?
Okay, so I hate M. Night Shyamalan with 7 burning passions. So anything he's involved with is instantly at a 1 star for me. This movie in particular, the acting was really bad. The story was bad. But I want to talk a little bit about the climax of this movie.
Is there a climax?
Which is where basically Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel willingly walk out into the wind and the grass to die together because they don't want to be apart, even though they know that like, oh, this is the end for them because like for reasons. And they meet and the wind is blowing and the trees are swaying and the grass is swaying and they sit there and they're ready to accept their fate. And then Mark Wahlberg is like, huh, this is weird. We're not dead. It's weird. And the entire movie,
That's fucking wild.
The entire movie's climax is one big Deus Ex Machina because it just so happened that at that exact moment, the plants decided to stop killing people. And then like they go off and they get her pregnant and everyone lives happily ever after, unless you're in France. And then like you're
then it
fucked.
happens all over again.
Well, the news clearly said that it was on a crescendo and it was going to taper off around Tuesday at 9:46. And that happened to be when they walked out of the house.
Well, the news said something about it's like it's just a random act of nature. But then if we want to know that it was really intelligent based, then it would happen somewhere else too.
Then
they made it in France.
The ending of the movie where the people were like, everybody thinks it's the government because it only happens in the Northeast. I was like, yeah, it's the government, man.
Well, my point is that typically when you're writing a story, you want cause and effect, setup and payoff and all this stuff. And this movie was just kind of like, oh, we have this big emotional climax between these two characters who've kind of been, unsure about their relationship with one another throughout the whole movie. And they go out there to die together and then nothing happens. You're just kind of like, oh, that was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah. So like, it was a very dumb movie. This is an unintentional comedy, but like, it's so bad, I don't find it funny. So every time I've had to sit through this film, it's just been torture for me. Like it's not enjoyable, at all. Even if you're drunk and you got friends and you're making fun of it, it's still not enjoyable to me. So this is a 0.5 star crap fest. I would even go so far as to give this 0 stars because I hate this movie so much.
I'm with you, man. I don't consider 0 a number.
I was so upset this week that I was forced to watch it. I was just in a bad mood all week. And this was the last movie we watched because I couldn't bring myself to watch it any earlier.
Well, we appreciate you for it.
No, we don't. Watch the fucking movies, dude. It's a movie.
Yeah.
I watch shitty ass movies all the time. All right.
I don't think you guys appreciate how hard it is to live with Kadish when he's watching things.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I have to watch freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He wakes up in the morning and I'm like, good morning. And he's like,
it's a fucking movie, bro. I watch so many fucking movies. It's ridiculous. Most of them suck. It's a 1-star crap fest.
You have worse taste.
Most of them suck. Most movies suck.
Jude really brought the average up with her 2.5.
She did. I don't know where she came. I mean, I do know where she came up with that.
I explained it at length.
It's a 1-star crap fest, but I do agree with Jude. I think against Kadish's saying that like if you're drunk with a bunch of friends, I think this would be hilarious to talk about. Like this movie is so goofy and dumb. It's kind of funny, and I laughed out loud multiple times during this movie when people were like acting so badly that you could tell they didn't want to be in the movie. And they were like, all right, we want you to act shocked that the wind is blowing. Oh no.
Smell the fart.
Smell the fart. Like that shit's hilarious, dude. It's so funny. And it's like there's scenes like this one right here where Mark Wahlberg is like, he doesn't know this woman.
Yeah, they're in the crossroads.
She's talking to her daughter who is actively committing suicide on the other side of the phone. And Mark Wahlberg takes the phone away from her and it's like, where are you? What are you doing right now? Close your fucking windows. And I'm like,
are you okay?
Hey,
what's
you
happening?
ever had a lobster?
Heather? Heather, are you there? It's so stupid.
The best part of this movie is that it's only 90 minutes.
Yes.
That is the best part.
Yes.
All right, that's enough. That's enough.
I could keep going for
I know.
like a day and
I
a half.
can't wait. I can't wait to do
Don't give this movie any money, dude.
alien invasion movies. I'm going to pick Signs just to force you guys to watch it.
I had a thought while
That's
we
not the
were
worst of
recording
his movies.
this because Kadish has come out very strongly against several directors, and I think we should have a
P.W.S. Anderson.
P.W.S. Anderson,
M. Night
Zack Snyder, and M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes, let's do it.
Movies that Kadish will not watch.
I quit. You guys are on your own.
We'll have Tom come in and he can just produce.
Yeah.
So he can be Jamie for real.
I got a bunch of duct tape. I'm going to tape him to the couch. I'm going to tape his eyeballs open. And I'll be like, you're watching this.
Clockwork Orange, that shit. Just
I will clockwork. Yes.
his eyes will explode like in freaking like a Total Recall.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. All right, guys, that's it for the podcast. Thanks for joining us. This was Mark Wahlberg Week. We had a ton of fun. I had a ton of fun. I know Kate
It was pretty fun.
begrudging over there. Thank you all.
He's such a curmudgeon.
I know he is. Thank you all who are in the chat. For those of you who are listening to this after the fact, we do record this live on Twitter Spaces. So if you want to hear us live, raw, unedited, head over to Twitter, follow the account at salty_nerd, and you can catch us on Tuesdays when we record the podcast. Matt Vader, where can they find you on the socials?
Oh, you can find me on the socials at MattVader74 on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and most of the places, mostly Twitter. You can find me here on this channel every Saturday morning with Mr. Kadish over there and our guest crew as we talk about the Orville and Star Trek Strange New Worlds right now. And you can also find me over on Facebook on our Facebook page. Just search Salty Nerd Podcast, and we have a page and what is it? A page and a group?
A group. Yep.
Page and a group. We have a page and a group both on Facebook, and we are over there. And we try to keep that as updated as possible as well. So if you're a Facebooker, look for us there.
Cool. Jude?
You know, I just realized we're all wearing salty swag.
We are. Yep. Got my Peace Love Dinosaurs. Barbarian Space Viking.
Yeah.
Jude's got Sex Machine.
Aw.
Bat Rat Spider Crab.
Good for us. We never all wear.
We're good at
our
promoting
own
our own
shirts.
shit.
You can find me at I am Juju on TikTok.
Great. Okay. That's Kadish. Where can they find you at?
You asked.
Jude, where can they get us? Where can they get our t-shirts at?
Oh, at saltynerdstore.com.
There it is.
You can be a sex machine too.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kadish, go ahead.
I bet you would.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. Kadishbooks.com takes you to my Amazon page. And be sure to sign up for our newsletter over at saltylist.com. Basically, we're sending out a newsletter every week to tell you what we're up to and all the new stuff that we have published and all the fun stuff to listen to. So
Yeah, and you can send us mail now too, or a raven if you like.
that's right. We have a P.O. box in the description. So like if you have anything you want to send us as a gift, feel free to do so.
I am actively retaking new buttons for my new button hat.
Yeah, send us buttons.
So if you got a podcast or a show and you've got merch and you want me to put it on my head, my big giant noggin, send it to me.
Yeah, you guys can catch us on Instagram as well if you like that app. We do a bunch of reels. Shout out to R2 who clips our stuff out for us and helps me out kind of putting some content out there on the Instagram platform. So follow us over there at Salty Nerd Podcast.
Say hi to your mother.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Go get some lobster.
Thank you to Mark Wahlberg for
Shout out
entertaining
to-
us this
yes,
week.
he's super entertaining. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Stay salty.